Hi.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Lorebeards Roleplaying.
Yeah, today we're going to be talking about character creation and Dark Heresy in particular.
That's right. I am Ross Watson. I'm a game designer and author. I actually worked on almost every book for Dark Heresy and many other Warhammer 40k role-playing games and many other role-playing game stuff. The short list is like Star Wars Edge of the Empire, Torg Eternity, Savage Worlds Rifts, a whole bunch of Savage Worlds, honestly. And a lot of other things, but that's who I am. Who are you?
I'm Vera, and I too have written for some Warhammer things. I'm primarily in the fantasy side of stuff. I work on the Fantasy 4e game, I work on the Old World RPG, and I work on Age of Sigmar Soulbound. I'm also one of these content creator-ish VTube things.
Love it. So yeah, today a couple of characters are going to talk to you about making characters. Womp womp. I thought it would maybe go over a little bit better than that, but who knows?
I was impressed. I'm pretty stoked for this though, because I think it's gonna be a cool opportunity to talk about what mentality you can have when making characters. A lot to do with what makes a character fun for you, how to like settle into a setting.
Right. I think we should probably start. Well, we are building Dark Heresy characters from the ground up today, so we should start by saying, what is Dark Heresy? What kind of stories do you tell in Dark Heresy?
Well, if you were here during our previous episode, we had on the illustrious Mike Mason to discuss just that in part. Dark Heresy is a exploration of the, let's say, less battlefield-centered side of the grim and dark future of the 41st millennium.
And the typical stories you tell are investigation focused, sometimes horror focused. Yeah, less about the battlefield and more about digging into life in the Imperium.
Yeah, you play as characters who have some agency, which is a lot in the Imperium. Not many people do, but they are beholden to their masters, the Inquisitors, and are under a lot of pressure.
I love this comment from Brock 6000. He says, "Last time on Lorebeards Ball Z." Yeah, we have 2 episodes of Dark Heresy, don't we?
Yeah, this is the three-peat. We began talking about just what the game is and breaking it down, sort of in a demo of our RPG examination format. We've had a wonderful interview with Mike, and now we are doing some character building. We're going to talk about the guts of the system, how it works, and how it functions in play.
Yeah, the goal is, I think, we're going to make our characters, and then the listeners, you guys, you can build characters that could be part of our party, part of our setting. Now, for me, I like to roll randomly and play it straight. Like, that's not the only way to do it, but that's the way I like to do it.
And I often will like research out a concept I like ahead of time, or I'll discover something in the book I'm excited about, then build around that.
Okay, here's a wild question for you, Vera.
Yeah.
In one sentence, what is the least heroic reason you can think of to join the Inquisition?
Ooh, the least heroic. Heroic by whose standards?
However you want to answer it is fine by me.
The least heroic reason you can join the Inquisition is probably utter self-interest, right? Because you get to squish people. You get to suddenly have authority.
Yeah, I mean, there are people who crave authority for all the wrong reasons. Mm-hmm. For me, it's out of cowardice. Like you're joining the Inquisition because you're running from something else.
Yeah, I could see that. That's a bad idea, but
I mean, maybe it is. It depends on what you're running from, I guess.
Well, how does it go like out of the frying pan and into the clutches of the darkest forces in the entire known universe?
So what? So for the context for the characters we're building today, there's a couple things we need to talk about. We need to talk about our theme for the campaign. Is it mostly investigation, or is it mostly horror? Is it combat heavy? Is it intrigue heavy?
Yeah, and a lot of that will have to do with the style of the Inquisitor themselves, because your Inquisitor, of course, is who's giving you all of these missions in Dark Heresy. They are the hand of the Emperor. They are in charge of you, in charge of anyone you'll ever meet, whether they know it or not, and have the authority to blow up the planet you're on if need be. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Face Octopus points out here, Amberly had people who were going to be sentenced to penal legion work for her in the debut book, I think. And he's talking about the Caiaphas Cain books, Hero of the Imperium.
We see a little of this in the Dark Tide game as well. We've got some prisoners for the rejects. This is a common theme that the Inquisition will use basically whoever, and for someone who's already slated to be disposed of, then, maybe they can make something happen.
Mm-hmm. So what do we want to, do you have an Inquisitor in mind that you want to use from the book?
Not in particular. I'm pretty radical, so I mean that way it might be fun to swing a little more mono-dominant, but I'm open to a radical bent as well, because even a concealed angle like that can open up some interesting lines of play later on, some new character storylines that might not be possible in a more orthodox context.
Yeah, we over on the Lorebeards 40K channel, we should have done a let's build an Inquisitor first, because that would have been great. We could have said, well, let's use our Inquisitor. Womp womp. Womp womp. There are random tables we could use, but that would eat up a lot of time. That's why I was saying maybe we should pick one from the book. But hey, if you have one that you use in your campaign, that would also be great.
I do have an Inquisitor character.
Okay. Who is it?
That'd be Serenessa Shultais, who is a Malthian former noble who was in charge of some garden moon near Gallowglass, and has had a rough time, but done pretty well for herself.
And she's radical or
oh yeah, so radical.
is she the oblationist?
Yes, she is.
Oh, okay. So we're working for an oblationist, which is just already bad, but okay.
She's a very sacred person. It's cool. Cherubim only hang out with you if you're very sacred.
So for people who don't know, ablationists are a subgroup within the Inquisition that believes you need to use chaos against chaos. And by doing so, you're damning yourself. So they are kind of martyrs for the good of the Imperium, quote unquote, as they see it, while using chaos things against chaos. It's madness, I tell you. Madness.
Yeah, the good news is she's legitimately a faithful individual and is not going to require that of people, although if they're inclined that way, they may as well be made use of. She likes having legitimately holy persons and people who are less reprehensible around.
Okay, so that is the Inquisitor we work for. What's the name again? I'm sorry.
Serenessa, Inquisitor Shultais. I will spell this out.
Okay, yeah. Serenessa Shultais. It's a good name.
Yeah.
And I think the only other thing we should really mention here is that many groups will avoid overlaps, but I would say it's okay to double up on things. You can have multiple guardsmen or multiple psychers in your group if you really want to. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, and in practice, for Dark Heresy especially, that could work out great because your Inquisitors sort of will be sending you on oftentimes compartmentalized missions, and they will tend to align to either things your party is good at or things they're specifically not to test you. So leaning a certain way is exciting and works just fine.
Yeah, well, there is such a thing as the All Guardsmen Party. That was a strong meme back in the day and had its own story and everything. So you can change the tone considerably by having multiple iterations of the same guy. Like an all-psyker party would be not here for a long time, but here for a good time. For
exciting.
Right? All right. So do you have an idea of what you want to play, or do you want to roll randomly?
I'm happy to roll randomly. We can work things out. I think it's fun to see where the dice fall. It's not something I usually do, but it is a cool thought experiment because you can really develop a character you might not have considered previously.
Well, because you're taking that tack, I might take the opposite tack. Again, I like to roll randomly. I like to randomize everything, but just in case, I did have a concept which is a hive scum from Malfi, who's a bastard son of Malfian nobility, and he's been picked up by the Inquisition because of his dissolute ways. Have basically put him on a direct path for a jail cell where he will never escape. And the Inquisitor was like, you know what? I could use you out here more than I could use you in there.
Oh, and this is great because he reminds her of herself as a young one, and that's the worst possible thing for him.
Oh God, he's a protege.
You never want to be the protege of the Radical Inquisitor.
That's not good. Yeah.
Hey, we got a super chat with Ricky Chapman. Thank you so much. Ross, did you read that?
Ricky Chapman, thank you so much, sir. The Inquisitor PC in our campaign joined to handle the issue of a demon prince of Slaanesh who is obsessed with him. The Inquisition got involved, and many years later, he became a radical Inquisitor. Hey, a demon prince of Slaanesh being obsessed with you is never good. I should point that out.
But if you can navigate that successfully, you probably deserve to be an Inquisitor.
Yeah, I would say that shows you have some actual ability for sure. Nice.
Yeah, I would call that a whole thing. Ooh, a Hawk asks, could you do both? Each of you make your own character, but use both methods in each step. You could swap back and forth. Like if you didn't have a strong preference as to your homeworld, for example, you could roll for that and then like try and narrow it down. There's no wrong way to go about this, right?
There is one. And that is randomly rolling stats is basically like a given rather than, I have 30s and everything, right? I could just declare that, right? Because that's
boring.
Right. Yeah, that's way boring. I would argue that a necessary randomness is the characteristics.
I think I agree. When I run, I like to let people reroll if they have like a really aggressively like below mean for the stat total. Like, it's rough, but I prefer throwing like really dangerous situations out. So like a little bit of a slightly above average group, which makes sense to me in the Inquisition, especially.
Here's a really cool concept from Ricky Chapman. Oh no, sorry, wrong one. Here's a really cool concept for Micah. He says, one of my friends did a failed Space Marine recruit who is still an amazing fighter and joined an Inquisitor's retinue. A failed recruit, yeah, serf. Like he's on his route to, he was saved from serfdom.
I love that. I like that origin a whole lot, and I like folks from Night Worlds as well who are aspirants. I think it's exciting.
Yeah, there's a whole abhuman species called Nightsiders. We covered that in our Lorebeards 40K abhumans episode, and they're weird. They're very weird. So some of them are like bats with echolocation and crap. It's really wild. But anyway, moving on. We will try to do. I guess for Hawk, we will try to do both if we can.
Yeah, we'll explore. All right, first step, Felonid.
Felonid. We're doing all the abhumans.
What an exciting party!
Oh my God. There's probably rules for Felonids out there somewhere. I bet somebody's come up with them. But I think today we're sticking to the core rulebook, right?
Yes, we are in fact going to be pulling exclusively from the first edition core rulebook. So we're not getting too complicated with the splats and things. Although you can, there's some amazing material.
Right. So the first thing is the concept, which I have, and you're going to skip that step. And then the second step is the home world, right?
Yeah, I think so. And you're leaning towards Malphite, right?
Yeah, Malphite. Go ahead.
I think you've got some ideas as to your guiding questions as well, like why they might have been noticed, right?
Exactly. But is Malphite, would you say it's an Imperial world or a Hive world?
Oh, I would say it's a Hive world. It's not quite so Imperial in some places.
All right, so I'll go with Hive Worlder as my home world, and we have a document where we're keeping track of all this information.
That is correct. Let me note this down. In fact, look at that. That's an important thing.
So we already have a question: whether your Inquisitor would be more open to Xenos or not.
More open, no. Willing, sometimes.
If they're chaos aligned and they want to use their abilities against chaos,
the rare premium chaos aligned Xeno.
Loxodal would be like one I would pick maybe because they work with the Blood Pact.
Oh yeah. I like to think that there's two kinds of radicals. There's the kind that has a really specific idea about what's acceptable, and there's the kind that's really pragmatic.
Hmm.
We're swinging a little more pragmatic here. I think part of what's interesting about playing a religious heretic is getting really analytical with it and trying to justify things in that context.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can logic yourself into all kinds of heresy.
Exactly.
You absolutely can. Eisenhorn is a great example. Who started out as very Puritan and became very radical at the end. So,
Yep. That's the problem. You can't think too hard. That is heretical in and of itself. How dare you use your critical mind?
an open mind is like a fortress with its gates unbarred and unguarded.
It's true.
Are we showing the document, or are we just we're gonna refer to it every so often?
We have this on it right now. Behold.
Aha, that's okay. So, what about your character? Are you gonna roll randomly for your?
I think
your
so.
Okay.
Would you do me the honor of rolling for me?
Okay. Yeah, just tell me when you want me to roll dice. I've got a wooden box over here with. Hopefully, can you guys hear the sound of the dice rolling out there in chat? Let me know, because it's a very satisfying sound.
This is called ASMR. We like this.
So your result is 61.
61. All right, let's see here. So on my homeworld sheet here, that is going to put us from an Imperial world. Okay.
An Imperial world. Okay. Do you have any thoughts on what Imperial world you'd want to be from? It's okay. It's okay to not do it now, because I mean we're at the very, very start.
I will ponder as we go, but I'll note that I have a couple of traits I can pull from. Blessed Ignorance, which is great. Fantastic. I can either be blessed and ignorant. I can be blessed and a little more knowledgeable with hagiography. I can have a liturgical familiarity, or just have a willpower bonus from superior origins.
Well, I mean, just as a short list, Scintilla, Iocanthos, Sinofia, they're all considered Imperial worlds.
You know, Scintilla can be fun because it creates a natural contrast in the party. Malfi and Scintilla are rival worlds. They are competitors for governance of the sector. So I kind of like that.
Yeah, for people who don't know, Scintilla is the capital world of the Calixtus sector, but Malfi was originally selected as that and then lost it due to politicking. And so they're they're deeply unhappy about this, even though it occurred hundreds of years ago.
So it sets up an in-party rivalry, which would be fun. Ross, I assume that's okay with you. I have your your thumbs up for this kind of tension. And furthermore, it also stages our Inquisitor as someone that's taken interest in both of these pretty influential planets.
Awesome. All right, so you've got your homeworld. So I think now homeworld characteristic modifiers are next, right? I should forget. Hive worlders, right? They get that cool ability. They don't treat crowds as difficult terrain. They can just move right through big crowds.
Ooh, very nice. So if we've got these characters from these very dense urban worlds, maybe that's the angle of the campaign, is there's a lot of play happening in these politics centers. It's sort of staged that way, and it benefits you as well.
Hawk says, Vault Boy Ross.
We love to see it.
Oh, that's funny. I don't know about you, but when I was in high school, we had very packed hallways in between classes. And I often, whenever I think about that ability to move through a crowd, I'm cast right back to, 12, 13 years old and getting out of class and being like, whoop, going through the hallway.
You just see the flow of traffic.
Right. You just know how to dodge in between people, weave at the very last second. All right.
I'm a city kid. I think I still have this skill.
So we need to apply our characteristic modifiers, and then we need to roll our starting wounds, right?
Yeah, we gotta roll our stats out.
Okay, so do you want me to roll for you, or what do you want to do?
Oh, yeah, I would appreciate that, and we'll record our stats here. Do you want to roll for yourself first? Because I have your.
Okay, what's first stat?
I will scroll down. First stat is going to be your weapon skill. How exciting!
Right, so it starts at 2d10 plus 20, and then your homeworld. There's modifiers from your homeworld, things like that. So, so for 2d10 plus 20 for my weapon skill. All right. Well, didn't get too great. That is an 8 plus, so 28 for weapon skill.
All right, so maybe not the fencing kind of noble.
Maybe not. Okay, well, we're doing a little bit better here. That is a 30 ballistic skill.
Okay.
And 37 strength. I'm quite strong.
All right.
Quite strong. Strunk.
We love to see it.
32 toughness.
Okay.
A very low agility. 24 agility.
Okay.
Yikes. Oh my god. 23 intelligence. Very not so bright.
I see.
I might actually see. I have a 32 perception. And okay, this actually might redeem him as well. 35 willpower.
All right.
And looks like a 33 fellowship. So not too bad. I'm wanted to build a face, so 33 is a good number for fellowship.
I'll note that our friend here has very low int and very high willpower, making him the ideal Imperial citizen.
That's right. We don't need no education.
Well, if he's guilty of dalliance, maybe he was slacking off at the skull, or maybe he was getting too good and chose to not engage with this because he didn't have to.
Oh yeah, he was too busy flirting with the tutors to learn anything. Actually, that's why he's got a great strength stack, because he was always working out trying to impress the ladies. He's got
he's yoked. I love it.
All right, so now we need your stats, right?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, cool. Let's do it. Weapon skill. Okay, well, you're starting off way better here. You got a 35.
Interesting. Okay.
You got a 29 ballistic. You got a 31 for strength.
Okay.
And a 31 for toughness. Oh, there we go. 33 for intelligence. And a 30 for willpower. You got a 38 for the next stat. I think that's perception. No intelligence, perception.
Willpower was 38 then 30, and then no wait.
Perception
was 30. Willpower is 38.
Fine. But if that's what you'd like to do, I screwed up.
Order?
Yeah, so it should be perception then willpower. So
whichever sign we can do per at 38 also, it doesn't matter.
All right, cool. And then fellowship is your last one. 26. Not great.
Okay. All right, so we have here two sets of pretty different stats, I would say.
Yeah, you're a pretty good fighter with 35 weapon skill.
Yeah. I'm not going to make any friends, though.
Yeah, probably not. But look at that perception stat, too. That you're really, what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I make an effective point guard, too. I can walk in there with a sword in hand, perhaps, know what's up.
But can you dunk? All right, so now we the homeworld supply modifiers detail. Do you know what the modifiers are for the Imperial world and the Hive world?
I believe Imperial world is to willpower, positive, and then I don't know for Hive world.
All right. See if I can look that up.
And there are a few skill modifiers and things as well. You do apply all of these.
Right. So let's see here. Weapon skill for okay. So for the Hive world character, which is me, I lose five. I lose 5 weapon skill.
Perfect.
I gain 5 ballistic skill.
Even better.
I gain 5 perception.
Okay.
and lose 5 willpower.
Okay. And for my Imperial world, I wind up gaining 3 willpower, and I get a couple of skill-based traits.
Okay, so that gives us our stats, and then the next thing is starting wounds, which is
This is
also
an important one.
that there is, I think, a special table for that, right?
That sounds right to me. Do we do that next, or is it after career path?
I believe it's next. Let me look it up. Yeah, you have your book open, don't you?
No, it's step 4. It's step 4.
It's a what?
That's step 4, I believe. After we start doing our XP spending.
Okay. I must have my checklist out of order. Oh, you know what? I've been through a lot of different versions of this game, so please forgive me if I get stuff wrong.
I'm missing agility. Oh, I'm missing agility. Oops.
Also, I happen to have the career mementos table, so we're gonna be able to roll on that if we want to.
I think we do want to.
Oh, I absolutely think we do. Yeah, 100%. At one point, actually, so fun fact, when I was working on Wrath of Glory, the very first iteration of that was essentially Dark Heresy 3.0.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and then I decided to take it a different direction. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around and grab my book because my online stuff is failing me. All right.
With the hard copy on hand.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hard not to, really.
Did you sign your own copy?
No. I don't feel the need to. Also, I didn't. This is one of the books I didn't work on, so I only sign it when I feel like I need to. Yeah. So, other things Hiveworlders get, by the way. So accustomed to crowds mean that crowds don't count as difficult terrain. Caves of Steel says that I use tech use as a basic skill. Hivebound says I suffer a penalty to all survival tests. And Wary says I get a +1 to initiative rolls. Imperial World, you get Blessed Ignorance, which means you have a -5 penalty on Forbidden Lore tests. Hagiography says you treat Common Lore Imperial Creed, Common Lore Imperium, and Common Lore War as basic skills. Liturgical Familiarity says you treat literacy and speak High Gothic as basic skills. Hey, you can speak High Gothic.
Nice.
And Superior Origins says you increase your willpower by 3.
You take those.
All right. So those are the worlds. Voidborn. Okay. We generated our characteristics. And now, yeah, you're right. Next is career path, which I will roll randomly for you because you are from an Imperial world.
Exciting.
And I got a 14.
Oh my God, I'm an arbitrator.
You're an arbitrator. You're a cop.
Oh, fantastic. Not just any cop. We're a 2000 AD style here.
You're a Fed. Yeah. Wow. All right. So, yeah, that means a lot of skill stuff for you and starting talents and starting gear, which is really, really cool. And I decided to go with Scum. And that means I have starting skills, talents, gear, and all those the same things. So, do you want to? We could. Do you have your stuff in front of you, or should I read this out?
I got mine ready. So, as an arbitrator, I have I'm literate, which I already was. I've got Common Lore Arbites. I've got Inquiry. And I've got a Common Lore Imperium again. I've got a Low Gothic and so on. So I'm literate. I know the law, and I can inquire, which is fantastic. I've also got basic weapons training, solid projectiles. I've got primitive melee training, and I've got quick draw or rapid reload, which I'm not sure what I want to do yet.
Well, I would suggest quick draw because you're faster. You're better in melee than you are in shooting.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'll use some kind of rush and tackle philosophy, perhaps. Making an arrest to some heretic or another. I've got a shotgun. I got a club. Gonna get used out of that. Brass knuckles, also good. A knife, a chain coat, or flak vest, or mesh vest. I think flak is pretty decent. I might go with that. Got a uniform. Good quality uniform, of course, always ironed. I've got stim. I've got injector. I got my arbitrator ID, which I cannot lose, or I'm in deep shit. I've got my chrono and some low sticks.
Or a flask of Amasec, if you want to be a drinker or a smoker.
You gotta pick one. There are two kinds of arbitrator.
Which kind are you?
I think I'm gonna go with the low sticks.
So why don't you briefly talk about what arbitrators are?
You ever heard of Judge Dredd? There was a lot of cross-pollination between early 40K and 2080 comics. You publish Dredd, and arbitrators are pretty darn close to the conceptual range and aesthetic of the judges. They are the law. They execute the law, sometimes through execution. They are as close as you can get to knowledgeable about the sprawling Lex Imperialis, which is a super complicated, constantly being revised code of laws and legislations that applies throughout the Imperium. They are judge, jury, and executioner. They have cyber mastiffs that'll pounce on people and rip them apart if they run. They are known for extreme force and are a heck of a thing to have on board.
Yep. And I am a scum, which means that I am an outcast or a criminal or a con man or a ganger. Which I'm a bastard noble of Malfi, so I'm absolutely a criminal of some kind, and an outcast.
You're a reprobate. Awesome.
It's true. I have speak language low Gothic, blather as a starting skill. Hey, nice. This again, I like to be a face.
Can you explain what it does for us?
Blather and charm are both social skills, which I don't personally have, which is why I like to play faces. Charm is your diplomacy. It's your skill to get along with people or make people do things that you'd like them to do. Whereas blather is about distracting people, tricking people, just keeping them occupied. It's a lot of fast talking. And then I get dodge, deceive, awareness, and common lore. Oh no, it's charm or dodge. So I'm going to take charm. And then deceive, awareness, and common lore Imperium.
Fantastic.
My starting talents are ambidextrous or unremarkable. Well, I don't want to be unremarkable now, do I? So I'm ambidextrous. I get basic weapon training primitive, pistol training, and basic weapon training SP, which I forget what that is.
Solid projectile.
Solid projectile. Okay, so I can shoot guns, which is good because I think my ballistic skill is pretty decent.
I do like the image of the dual-wielding desperado for the scum, I admit. I'm fond of this.
I start with an auto gun and one clip, an auto pistol and one clip, brass knuckles, a knife, a quilted vest, or beast furs. I'm going to go with the quilted vests. Streetwear or rags or filth or dirty overalls. I'm going to go with streetwear. Because it used to be like, nice noble clothes that are just now ripped and torn and have like weird stains.
Like that. It was the clothes you wore when you got picked up and you're just still.
Yeah. Exactly. So now we're on to stage 4, which is our starting wounds. And as a Imperial Worlder, you start with 8 and then you get a D5.
Fantastic.
And for you, that is 3. So you're going to have 11 wounds to start.
Perfect.
As a Hive Worlder, I start with 8 and also get a D5. Yeah. That gives me 12 wounds. Then we have our starting fate points. Let's see. You are Imperial Worlder. You get 2.
Haha.
And as a Hive Worlder, Oh, I got the 9. 9 or a 10 means I have 3 fate points. Heyo.
Very nice.
All right. Movements. We already know what it's based on agility move bonus. So my agility bonus is only a 2. I am not very quick.
Mine is a 3, so I'm fast enough to get into melee, which is nice because I don't have much but my club here.
Yeah, your half move's a 3, your full move's a 6, your charge is a 9, and your run is 18. So that is that stage. That's that part of stage 4. We have our starting wealth. Ooh, this ought to be fun.
Excellent.
You start with 50 thrones plus. Looks like you have 59 thrones.
We take those. Okay.
And a scum starts with 10 plus 5. I have 15. I have 15 thrones to start with. Not much, but literally the maximum a scum can have to start. So there you go.
I want to note how much I love the starting wealth table in Dark Heresy. I think it says a lot about the Imperium. I'm just really fond of it.
We have 400 points, 400 XP to spend as well on stuff. But do we want to do that, or do we want to jump to the stage 5?
I think we want to jump to stage 5.
Okay, because stage 5 is where all the fun stuff is.
Yeah, we'll worry about the other stuff later. We've got all our mechanical stuff put in place, so we have all this. It's recorded. We know.
So, stage 5, first step is gender. I am going to be a man. I think my scum is clearly a Lothario.
I am not, I don't think.
As in not a man or not a Lothario? Okay.
neither a man nor a Lothario.
All right, fair enough. All right. So there we go. And now we've got our appearance, and this is all random generated stuff, which I like a lot. So let's see. For you are a Imperial Worlder. Let's see. What is your build? Your build is 77. You are fit.
That makes sense.
You're about 1.65 meters tall. You weigh about 60 kg. You are you're strong, right? You're like super strong.
Yeah.
You're fit. Well, no, actually, I might be stronger than you. No, that's what you have the better weapon skill, though. That's what I remember, right?
Yeah, I'm deft with it. Should be kind of athletic, right? I think arbitrators have to be.
And I got a 7 for my build. I am slender. I am 1.75 meters tall and 65 kilograms. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm a runt. Excuse me. A hive world. 1.6 meters tall and 45 kilograms. I weigh 90 pounds. Oh my God. Wow. I'm like the Kevin Hart of space.
You're strong though. Wait a minute.
I'm a short king.
We've invented the leagues of Votan. Wait.
Short kings represent.
Yeah.
All right. So now next is how old you are. For an Imperial world, it's going to be. Looks like you got a 19. You are what's called a stripling. So you are 23 years old.
That's impressive for an arbitrator.
Yeah, that's young. And I got a 18 for me, which puts me as a nipper. I am 17 years of age. Wow.
Oh my God. You're not done growing yet. Wait, that explains everything.
Wow, I am a teenage bastard. That's literally the name of the book that they'll write about me someday, is I was a teenage bastard on Malfi.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I love this because, like, you can literally grow up during the campaign. The way that, like, 40K works logistically, there's going to be downtime between missions.
Yeah, exactly. Alrighty. And now we've got our coloration. Imperial Worlder, that would be you. Come on, dice, give me something fun here. Sorry, these things are heavy, and occasionally they will fall out of the box. Oh, wow. 99. 99 coloration of Imperial World is dyed skin.
Okay, all right.
Dyed skin, and you got a 53, which is brown hair. And you've got a 85 for eyes, which gives you green eyes. As for myself, 67. That gives me fair skin. I'm pale. Well, fair, actually. It's not. There's literally, I'm not a Voidborn. 98 for hair, which gives me black hair. And my eyes are 62 brown eyes. Pretty unremarkable, and after all, unfortunately. Except I'm short. I'm a little runty. But you have the cool dyed skin. What color is your skin?
Ooh, we might go for some kind of patterning, like
Like
we're talking like large tattoo scale, perhaps like some kind of uneven striping, maybe like an arbitrator, some kind of heraldry. I don't know.
Here's a weird thought. You could have that. You could have that stippling like Killmonger had.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun.
Yeah, that'd be wild. Dyed in the color of justice. This is Lord Foreign.
Oh, I like that. I like it. You can like aqua patterns in it. I think that's neat because I'm doing some kind of highly martial tradition as part of my arbitrator stuff. I'm, on the up and up in my career. I'm maybe getting a little heavy handed with it, and then things go wrong for me somewhere. So
my father was an arbitrator, and his father was an arbitrator, and by golly, it's good enough for me. Or my mother, in your case. My mother was an arbitrator. I don't know.
We both can love bloom at the
love can bloom on the
extremities. Yeah.
All right, so now quirks. This is one of my favorites. Quirks, Imperial World quirks, and you get a 77, which puts you as Quivering Fingers.
Oh, I'm twitchy.
Quivering Fingers, Hive Worlder quirk. And that is a 47, which gives me a set of piercings.
Nice. All right.
I've always liked eyebrow piercings. So maybe he's got like a set of eyebrow piercings. Just kind of gives him that cool, like, hey, he can wiggle his eyebrows, I was hoping for the hacking cough, but, I'll go for this.
You can always role play that. Here, I'll share some glow sticks. You'll get there. Here you go, kid.
So you can roll randomly for your Imperial World birth planet. Do you want to do that?
Ooh. I guess I kind of like Scintilla because of what it does narratively, though.
Stick with Scintilla. There's no reason to do it if you haven't already figured it out. I have a Hive class thing, but I've already decided I was a noble bastard, so I'm going to stick with that because that's one of the results. All right, then we have our divinations, our Imperial divinations. Do you want to explain how this works?
Yeah, so there's something called the Emperor's Tarot in 40K, which is a sanctioned sort of divination. It's very sacred because the Emperor is on there, and this is used to peer into the future. It's the wisdom of the Empire, and it's totally okay. So these are sort of your equivalent to doomings in fantasy. They are a prediction about what kind of creature you might become, and oftentimes these are performed as rites for upcoming acolytes because it's good to know. It's good to know if things start like catching on fire and screaming during the rite. Maybe we put them in for another round of background checks and whatnot.
Yeah, well, it also these have mechanical effects as well. So
yeah,
that's
very
super
true.
Fun. So let's start with you, I think.
Exciting. Some of these are very bad, by the way. they can be very bad for you.
You got a really good one. 46. There are no civilians in the battle for survival. That gives you a +2 toughness and +1 wound.
I love it.
All right, let's hope for mutation. Everybody cross your fingers.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, I'm not that blessed. I got a 36. 36 is only in death does duty end. I gain an extra wound.
My God, you're stuck here.
Till you're 90.
What a terrible omen for a 17-year-old who just wants to go party.
Oh my God. Only in death does duty end. That is exactly why he was out partying his ass off, was his parents were all about that stuff. So we've done our homeworld, done our careers, wounds and fate points, starting skills and talents. This is where starting gear, insanity or corruption, we got all that sorted out. Physical description, we got that sorted out. Personality and background hooks. And our name. So
exciting.
Personality, let's do the nature of your character. What is your personality like? And the options here are bilious, cardinal, choleric, fixed, melancholic, mutable, phlegmatic, sanguine, or supine.
So I'm going to assume that at least a few folks are not familiar with the humors as they are.
Right.
Which several of these are from. Bilious folks are suspicious, pissed off, and a little bit watchful. Cardinal folks seek balance but are prone to inertia. The choleric types are easily pissed off but eager. They are irritable, irascible. Fixed folks are solid, definitive, decisive, unyielding. Melancholic types are thoughtful, a little depressed.
Emo.
Yeah! Mutable types are unpredictable and rebellious. They're undisciplined. The phlegmatic are reserved and cautious, very slow to move. The sanguine types are optimistic, bold, and dreamlike, kind of whimsical. And the supine are loyal, devout, and a little bit submissive.
Well, I'm going to go with mutable. I'm a rebel.
Nice. I can see it. I think for an arbitrator, it's either bilious, choleric, or fixed. I think that it's fun to plan to be in a little bit choleric because it seems good to have a solid drive in contrast to a rebellious child.
Also makes you a leader, which is good.
Yeah. Especially because I am not suitable to be talking to folks. I am an arbitrator, and we're going to be a suspicious presence if I play my ID card. So,
how did you meet your Inquisitor?
Ooh, you have any ideas?
Oh, well, as you said, I'm basically her protege. So she handpicked me from the prison when she was visiting. She was just like on a whim, was like, I'm going to go look at this Malthian prison, see if there's anybody worthwhile. And she's walking down the halls and she sees me and she's like, that guy. There's something about that guy, that kid, that scrawny yet muscular kid.
The wiry strength.
Yeah.
We can conceal him in like overhead compartments on void ships. This is perfect. Here's a question. What were you in for?
Oh, that would be causing like a major disturbance at like a noble's party or something like that. Like I got super drunk and was caught canoodling in the supply closet.
Causing a stir, as they say.
Oh, Hawk suggests that you may be arrested one of the Inquisitor's retinue, and that's how you met them.
Oh, I love that. Being too good at your job.
Oh, this sounds like the Dark Tide beginning missions. Oh my God.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, reject.
Pirating Games Workshop content. That's why I was in the prison.
The ultimate sin. 1,000 lifetimes of service won't be enough. That's all 3 of your generations.
Yes. Oh, you know, be really wild is if I was like passing myself off as like trying to be all dangerous and like Chunabu and be like, oh yeah, I've seen the Eye of Terror, I've been there. it's so like when she goes to visit the prison, she's like, "Oh, there's some guy in here talking about weird chaos things." And she's like, "Oh, really?"
She sounds like, really? Oh, yeah, tell me about it. Cool. That's so neat. How old are you? You know some big words.
Right? So what does the Inquisition mean to you?
I think the Inquisition is the higher calling of the job I was already doing, which is good because I'm not allowed to do that job anymore. I'm kind of no longer permitted to do this. So I am well suited to some aspects of it and very much not to others. And I am forced to no longer use exclusively force because our Inquisitor does not operate that way. So it is an opportunity to do well by the spirit of the Lex and almost never the letter, which is, I think, an internal conflict for me.
Hey, Dark Queen Alexis, my co-host from Lorebeards 40K. She's watching. Thank you, Alexis. She says,
Alexis.
She says, I was an Inquisitor once. Then I got busted by an Inquisitor.
Isn't that always the way, though?
Nice one. I like that. I think for my character, I think he sees the Inquisition as a way to save his own skin.
He's not wrong.
He's like, hey, this Inquisitor likes me. She's got a lot of pull, and that means I'm basically not going to be, worried about bounty hunters coming after me, or my noble family that I'm a bastard child from trying to wipe me out. This is he sees it as an opportunity first and foremost, I think. All right, next question is, what will you sacrifice?
I'm sure you're playing a very self-sacrificing type here. I see your character as sort of a heroic figure who's there to give all that he's got in service to the Imperium, right?
No.
Do tell.
What will I sacrifice for the Inquisition? Well, he's not especially zealous. I think he's willing to sacrifice basically anything that's not himself. Like, I will arrange for other acolytes to take the fall.
Oh, good.
Get out alive. So I'm willing to sacrifice every single one of you. How's that?
Oh, we love this kind of teammate. This is awesome. It's really reassuring to have somebody behind you who's super down to spend you.
This mission might cost you all of your lives, and it's a risk I'm willing to take.
Wow, you're so bold. How intrepid. This is the person we want doing our negotiations for sure.
Ooh. Right. Well, I mean, I am quite handsome and muscular. So there's a lot of things that can, I can.
You're a child.
True. But there is a certain women of a certain age find that attractive.
I'm sure this is in the Lex somewhere. Hang on, give me a minute. We're gonna get to the bottom of this, damn it.
What will you sacrifice?
I think I'm willing to push things pretty far. If I'm already the type to like scarify and participate in like dogged martial training, I am ready for violence. What I don't think I am ready for is the kind of working terror that is unveiled as you start inquiring into the sort of business that leads to corruption. I think I'm not willing to sacrifice my soul.
Oh, Rothian Fairmoon has a pretty good answer. He says, Arbitrator could have a Quark Odo relationship, which would make me Quark in this example.
Oh, this is cute.
From Deep Space Nine. Yeah, very good, Rothian Fairmoon. That's a good one. Yeah, I like that.
Would you care to explain this for us, Ross?
So on Deep Space Nine, Odo is the constable. He's basically the cops. And Quark is a bar owner who's always trying to find some sort of angle or deal scheme, if you will. But they actually are like incredibly good friends. But typically they do typically quarrel over, whether something is legal or not legal. and things of that nature.
Which is great fun when you have a code like the Lex, which is very, let's call it open to interpretation. There are like judges who do nothing but interpret the Lex.
Well, I mean, so arbitrators are one of the things that are, it's kind of not expressed. It's not explored a lot in the lore, but I can tell you that typically arbitres are far more concerned with, quote unquote federal crimes. Like they're more worried about issues with the adeptus. They're not going to bust somebody for smoking the wrong kind of low stick on the street. You know,
that's they could, but like they
could, but they're not
beat cops. Yeah, they are.
They're not beat cops. They're the equivalent of the FBI.
Yes.
Yeah. So they're more interested in like a serial killer murdering adepts of the administratum than they would be, you know, a serial killer prowling the depths of a munitorum, or not a like a hab block somewhere in a hive world. They'd be like, whatever, that's not we don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, they'll get involved if it's systemic, and some of them might be motivated to like pursue petty crime if they see it. But
yeah, that's a good way to look at it. You of course can interpret that however you like. So
yeah.
What do you desire? What does your character desire? Justice.
Justice, sanctity in the imperial way. I think I desire cleanliness. I think I want things to be tidy. I want things to work in a neat kind of way because that's how they're supposed to work, and they never do. There's a reason that I'm irritable. Like I think that I am endlessly frustrated by the realities of the Imperium, and still young myself. I compared to your character am older and wiser, but not by that much. And I think that I'm still in my honeymoon phase with the whole maybe I can make a difference thing, which you rarely can in the Imperium.
Okay, here's a fun one for me. I think that when my guy was pulled out of his cell by an Inquisitor, he was probably deeply impressed with the way the Inquisitor was, respected.
Mm-hmm.
And being a bastard means that you go through life often being disrespected. You are extraneous at best and an embarrassment most of the time, right?
Yeah, you're a liability.
So seeing the Inquisitor, I think he's like, I want that. I want what she has. I want the ability to walk into a room and everyone has to listen to me. I think that's what he wants.
That's a solid motivator to do some really horrible things.
Oh, come on. There's no possible way that could go badly, right? wanting authority and respect for no other reason than it makes you feel good. No,
surely this is fine.
Right?
That's what the Inquisition's all about.
What do you hate is the last question there.
I hate smug little nobles.
No, but like actual nobles, not bastards. Like you know.
I think I hate people who are, let's call it disingenuous. I think I hate the idea of compromise, and I think that makes me hate myself because the Inquisition is all about compromise sometimes. I think that my worst experiences in the Arbites are seeing the limits of what the Lex actually does, and when things stop functioning, cannot be made to function, and just don't operate, and I can't influence it. And I am already disillusioned with how much the Inquisition can actually do to change that, because theoretically it should be the lever that you push on, it makes that happen, and that is not always the case.
I'm gonna say my guy has bought into the whole Malfian like nationalism, like the idea that Malfi should have been the sector capital, all that. So I think my character hates the decay of, he hates the idea of something grand decaying into something corrupt and horrible. uh, it's just, I wouldn't say it's a love of purity, but it's more of like a frustration that things, that something that should be pure isn't. He's just like, that's horrible to him.
I quite like that because we've kind of wound up building foils so far, right? But on this, they agree. This is a point of unity. They are upset by the same thing.
Right.
Kind of.
Micah says we should never meet a rogue trader. Yeah. Yeah, neither one of us would be too impressed, I think. We'd both be like, bro. Well, it depends. Like Caligos Winterscale is probably someone my character would really respect. But Haderach Fell, for example, or Jane Sarvis Trask, he'd be like, really? What are you doing? What are you doing out there?
Yeah, I think that most rogue traders would not kind of compel.
I think my character would be like, you were given everything. You were given literally everything, and you're wasting it,
Indolence. Right. Indolence. This too is a sin.
Oh, yes. And now it's time for our name. So let's see. Types of names: High Gothic, Primitive, Low Gothic, Archaic, or Informal.
I think that if I'm from like an Arbites lineage, it's got to be High Gothic, right?
All right, so High Gothic it is. And your name is 88, which gives you Trontia.
Okay.
I will also choose High, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Just because. And I got a 73, which gives me the name Regis. Hey. Regis and Kathy Lee. Regis and Trontia.
Strong.
All right. And I have some interesting questions I'd like to ask before we spend our XPs. So clearly our party roles, like I'm aiming to be a face. What is the role you're aiming to be?
I am aiming to be a lore character and a melee combatant. So I want to know how things are supposed to operate, then get pissed off and smash them into working that way.
Okay, so you're a beat stick. Your role is the beat stick.
A little bit.
All right, fair enough. Also tank, probably, with your armor.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be frontlining. I'm going to be declaring violations of the Lex. Then I'm going to hit things very hard.
All right, I'm going to ask a question of chat, and then we'll circle back to it after everybody's had a chance to answer. Hey, chat, between the two of us, who's more likely to accidentally summon a demon? Just think about it.
This is actually a good question.
Just think about it for a second. But for you, like specifically for you, Vera, what is the most petty thing that you consider to be heresy?
The most petty thing that I consider to be heresy?
Using the wrong brand of recaf, or having a weird laugh, or being late.
Smiling while eating corpse starch.
Anybody who likes corpse starch, who actually likes corpse starch, you're like, that's heretical.
Not even if they like it, if they experience joy.
Nice. The most petty thing that I think is heresy. I'm gonna say. I'm going to say anybody that smells too good.
Oh, that's heretical?
Yeah. Yeah. On Malfi, if anybody who smells too good on Malfi is hiding something. Like if they show up,
anybody on Malfi is hiding something. What does that mean?
It means that you're hiding something like really bad. If you have to smell good.
Are we talking like fragrance, like Axe body spray? Are we talking like actually like just cleansed, like
well, yeah, I'm talking about some sort of product, not natural. Yeah, definitely like a perfume or cologne. But if they smell too nice, I'm gonna be like, you are a heretic.
I think that like aroma has gained a lot of power in storytelling in the digital era.
Mm.
Because it's like one thing that cannot be easily replicated through a computer. So it kind of stokes the imagination a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I have learned many terms for different types of smells.
Oh yeah, okay.
Exciting,
the olfactory range.
Yes, exactly. What's a totally mundane fear that your character might have?
Ooh, do I self-insert?
Could be.
I'm gonna say bugs.
Don't like bugs. Cool.
Not at all. Not at all. This is like pulling from my heart. But yeah, a mundane fear. What scares the mighty Regis?
The mighty Regis. I mean, he's just a kid.
Homework.
I'm gonna say elevators.
Oh yeah.
He's got a bizarre fear of elevators.
I would call that a rational fear. Actually, if he's like going down to the scum level.
All right. And let's see. One last thing. What is a wildly overblown rumor about your character that isn't true yet?
I would say that she personally like beat to death an entire cult.
Personally beat a cult to death is pretty good. A wildly overblown rumor that isn't true yet. I would say there's a rumor that Regis seduced a governor's daughter. It's not true. It's not true yet.
He's looking to make it so, though.
I mean, when he finds out about it, he's going to be like, bet.
Like, bet. Mission insight.
All right, chat. Which one of us is most likely to summon a demon? Is the Hawk? Is there a consensus?
Yeah, I'm curious about this.
All right. Well, I'll wait for Hawk to get back to me on that. I didn't see any answers, so I don't. Oh, actually, I do see some answers, but it looks like it's pretty even split. Anyway, Hawk will let us know if there's a consensus or not on that one.
Like it would have been the demon, but
right. Is there any kind of sweet detail? Because the grimdark future needs occasional sweetness. Is there a sweet detail about your character? Do you secretly knit aquila patterned scarves?
I think that I really enjoy like dance and music.
That's cool.
Because I related to the athleticism of like martial combat because I'm a war dancer nerd, but also because it's sort of a similar practice. If you're doing like steps and boxing drills and things, they are remarkably similar to certain kinds of like dance practice. So
Hawk says the consensus is that Regis is the most likely to accidentally summon a demon. Legit. I think that's fair.
I think I agree.
Because somebody's like, "Hey, this will make everyone respect you if you summon a demon." Really? Huh.
I think Regis seems more easily tempted. They both have their faults, definitely, that could lead to such a thing, but I think Regis might be more easily baited somehow.
Well, he is low intelligence. Remember that. He's like a 23. He's not a bright kid. And let me tell you, I know a lot of dumb teenagers.
Yeah, 17 is like very much missing frontal lobe era. So no offense. I teach high school. I've seen it.
Yeah. You give Regis a few stims and then get him while he's high and be like, hey, why don't we try this weird ritual in this book? Okay, sure. Especially if she's hot, like if she really wants to, Get him in.
Given my daily experience with 17-year-olds, he's going to talk about tung tung sohur and all sorts of nonsense.
Oh Lord, yeah, 6s and 7s.
Oh God. Well, I do that usually.
All right. Shall we roll on the memento chart?
Yeah, let's.
All right. So this is an official additional. This is the only thing that's not in the core book. My good friend Tim Huckleberry made this. I think it was downloadable for free for a very long time. You could probably find it if you search hard enough for it. It's called the Homeworld and Career Mementos for Dark Heresy. And basically, it's like that chart for D&D 5th edition, where you roll and you get some really cool little item that is like an interesting hook for maybe an adventure or just a little thing for your background. And they have one for each of the types of worlds. As an Imperial worlder, I'm going to roll for you first.
Thank you.
And you get a 13. And a 13
lucky.
says, yeah, lucky 13. You have an all-weather cape.
I'm cool. Oh my God.
You know, maybe it was a gift from your mentor. You know, like the hard-boiled detective who's always out in the rain. You know, like the Blade Runner is like, here, you need this.
Yeah, that sounds like an Academy gift. So when I hear that, I think like the police coats from Disco Elysium.
And I got a straight up 50, which is right in the middle of the pack. 50 for a hive welder. I have a spent bullet casing. It's got my name written on it. It's a spent bullet casing with Regis written on it.
I like that a lot. That's pretty cool. Did you write that on it, or did someone else?
No, I think I just have it, and I think I don't know who wrote it. That might be.
Oh, but you like discovered it, and
yeah,
after being shot at, presumably, or.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Or I found it, yeah, like finding it after a firefight and being like, wait a minute, what is this? That's weird. I'm going to keep it.
Pat yourself down, huh? Strange.
So that's a homeworld memento. There's also a career memento, but I think we should just stick with the one.
You don't want too many mementos.
Yeah, one memento is interesting. Multiple mementos, you get kind of lost in the detail. So
I'd like one of each, please.
Would you? Sincerely?
No.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I like one of each of the mementos on the list, like just like 20 different doohickeys and just pockets full of trinkets and whatnot. Which is the kind of character you could make, but that's a definitive vibe when they just have collectibles.
Oh, here we go. I like this one. Rush 21129 says he recognizes the handwriting of as his own, but has no memory of writing it.
Ooh, that's kind of extreme. I like that.
It's at least similar to my own. Let's put it that way. I don't know if I want to like definitively say this is my handwriting because I don't know if I can identify my own handwriting.
Yeah, if you're like etching it into the side of something, also, it's like a technique that kind of denies your normal script, right?
Yeah, I suspect that I may have written this, but I don't know for sure.
It's sufficiently foreboding you want to hold on to it.
Yeah, exactly. Is there? Do we want to start spending our XPs now?
Yeah, we could lean into that because we have our rules pretty well defined, right?
So you, as an arbitrator, you have 400 points to spend. Do you want to spend them on your characteristics?
Let me scroll down to my actual advances first and take a look at those.
Right. Great. This makes for great radio while she's reading, so I will try to fill the space. We got a really great comment here from Fumark 3501. First time I've seen you, Fumark. Welcome.
Hey.
Memento Mori. Yeah, that's essentially what all the skulls are about in 40K. If you see any model, especially from the 90s and the early 2000s, they had skulls all over them. And the reason for that is because in the Imperium of Man, the Emperor is essentially dead, but also alive. Like he's this weird rotting corpse sitting on a throne. And so the reminder of his sacrifice is often commemorated in the form of skulls on either actual skulls or more usually it's the depiction of a skull on things, guns, armor, things of that nature.
Yeah, I would say the morbidity is kind of an essential element of the setting. This is carries through in fantasy as well. And I like it especially for Ross's character because poor Regis is sort of on a self-destructive path, let's call it. So this sort of connotation like suits that really well. It's got an eerie little edge to it. It's
Look,
nice. It's nice. It's thematic.
I got something to say. It's better to burn out than to fade away.
Yeah. Cue guitars.
Yeah. Meedly meedly mow. All right. So are you set up with your what your choice is?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think I'm going to get Drive for one because it's kind of radical to scoot around. We'll put Regis in a sidecar. He'll fit.
That's true. I'm the Kevin Hart of space. I'm a tiny little boy.
I'm going to take Awareness because I have the option and it's good. I'm going to take Scrutiny because I think it's also sort of my range. I believe that keys up of Perception, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to invest in Common Lore plus 10. I want to be good at my job for Adeptus Arbites. So I'm going to know the Lex and I will know exactly how fast I can go and then go 15 over because it's fine.
All right, so for me, I have a pretty cheap ballistic skill increase. It's 100 points for a +5, so I'll take it. I think that pushes my ballistic skill pretty high. What does it make it?
That'll push your ballistic skill all the way to 40.
Not bad. Yeah, I'll take it. So that's only 100 XP, and it's only 100 XP for agility as well. And I know my agility is terrible, so I would like to increase my agility by +5.
All right, you're at 29 then.
And then I will take pistol training Laz for 100 points because nobles usually use Laz weapons.
Classy.
And I will take barter for 100 points because that's the only fellowship skill I think I do not start with.
Very good for acquiring drugs in strange places. It's going to be essential for the mission and stuff.
So there you go. Oh, we got Lord Vord saying, I like the name Regis. It's Geralt's elder vampire buddy from The Witcher. He was also the halfling thief from the Icewind Dale trilogy.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, Tranchia is a less commonly flexed name in the local discourse, but we can shorten it to Anti, which is cute.
To Anti?
Yeah, right in the middle.
Oh, interesting.
Tranchia, yeah.
Just call me Anti. Anti what? Everything. Yeah, you put on the sunglasses.
Yeah, get the sick ass CSI Miami intro.
Won't get fooled again. Yeah. All right, that's pretty rad. There are some more questions I thought we could go over, unless you had something else you wanted to get into.
No. I this is the heart of it. I think. Interrogating characters like this, like figuring out how they play out and how they work together, I think is a fantastic part of character creation. Like what we're sort of doing right now emulates like part of session 0, right? Like if we had more characters here, like being built simultaneously, we could like work out those connections as we go, and we can still do this as we introduce like other concepts in a minute. But this is the heart of it, right? Is like finding ways they play off each other, covering like different spectrums of things you might want to do on a mission, and building dynamics, which we're going to get into shortly, I believe.
Exactly. What would you like? Well, I mean, would you like me to talk about my stuff, or did you want to jump into one of your pieces?
I would love for you to get on with. All
right.
Expound.
All right. So I'm going to say, what is your character's comfort thing? This could be food or a hymn or a lucky charm.
Chain smoking.
Chain smoking. You are comforted by the low stick more than anything else.
Yeah, and I like that a vice is sort of the comfort for a little budding super cop. I think it's classically noir, you know. I think it's a it makes sense for the aesthetic. I like smoking in the rain, the Blade Runner coat.
Nice. I'm going to say my comfort is Grox sticks from Spectorus, little greasy skewers of Grox meat that are served in vending machines on Malfi.
Genuine meat?
What?
Genuine meat?
I mean, it's advertised that way.
Nice.
get your Grox sticks. Oh,
Crocs trademark.
Yeah. Well, I played a lot of Cyberpunk 2077 recently, and I love all the vending machines that you can find, all the weird food that comes out of the vending machines. So I was like, that would be fun in Dark Heresy. Would be to have, some kind of wild vending machine that gives out little, made with real Grox trademark, question mark on the side of it.
No, I really like that. That's cute. I like, for the purposes of the campaign, that any planet we go to that has like a population of more than 1 million, they just happen to be there. There's a vending machine.
Fumark says, "Do you see any Grox down here in the Underhive?" Yeah. Yeah.
Has he ever seen a Grox, like an actual Grox?
Micah says, a Cyberpunk game at a Hive City or Cormorog win. I agree. That would be super fun.
Ooh. A game set in Komoro would be so cool. That's like, you can run there. It'll work. I dig.
Fumark says Tana tea. So Tana is a tea that's drunk by the Valhallans in the Kai Fiskane books. Hero of the Imperium. And it is described
Hero
as,
of the Imperium ?
It is described as an acquired taste. Most people who are not Valhallans don't really care for it, but for some reason, Kane has really gotten to like it. Okay, so these are characters are pretty cool.
I have a question about Regis.
Yeah, go for it.
Any siblings?
Several.
Ooh, are they bastards?
I think I'm going to say unknown. Like,
Okay.
he knows he's got sisters and brothers, but like he's not sure. Some of them might be.
I like that implies like in family intrigues. That's cute.
So anti in her coat, says Hieronymus, cigarette in her mouth, having a monologue about justice and the Inquisitor's orders while it's raining cats and dogs, all in black and white, of course. Yes, you are a noir detective in a lot of ways.
I think that works in Dark Heresy. I think this is functional.
Right? And Hawk says, same question back at you. I'm sorry, Hawk, which question is that?
Any siblings, perhaps?
Is there? That's the question. You're right. What do you have siblings?
I'm gonna say used to have a brother.
Did he die in the line of duty?
She doesn't want to talk about it.
He was only 2 days from retirement. He'd bought a boat. He called it the Live Forever.
He was gonna move to the paradise world.
And then that hive scum he was chasing down got him Mendoza. Oh, that's great. That's great. I love it. Wow. All right. So here's a question about us as like our character of the character, if you will. Is there someone that your character owes a debt to?
Someone she owes a debt to. I'm gonna say that she owes a debt to. I think she owes a debt to an investigator who was above her on Scintilla.
The one who gave her the cape?
Yeah, I would say so.
Nice. I'm going to say I owe a debt to one of my siblings. They got me out of trouble when I was in trouble once, and they literally showed up for me. I don't know. I guess you're going to have to like help me out here. Like when I say one of my siblings, what are you picturing?
I picture an older sister who is better at playing the politics game than you.
Absolutely. So my older sister, who is way better at playing politics, interceded on my behalf one time, and I feel like I owe her a debt. So
I feel like she wants you to feel like you owe her the debt.
it's Malfi. That's very, very likely.
It's possible she's involved with how you got in trouble.
Transactional social activities are very common on Malfi.
Yeah, I think the investigator helped me the one time I got in trouble. The one time. You get one.
You get one. Yep.
And this was, of course, in violation of the Lex. And it was like, oh man, I do not feel good about this. But also, I can only make good on it in some other, like, kind of not over the table way.
Hawk says he had a spacecraft named the Endless Sunset. That's much better, Hawk. That's much better. Yeah, that's much better.
That's strong.
Yeah, I love it. Is there a character? Is there someone that you idolize that you like think is a role model?
What I idolize? I think a living saint.
Ah, like Saint Celestine?
Yeah, I think the Celestine could work. Yeah.
Hawk says the older sister directed the Inquisitor to the prison I was in. That, yeah, that she might have. It's unclear whether she thought she was doing me a favor or not. I think
that gets really spicy very quickly. I think if there's like family intrigue with the Inquisition, like as soon as someone in the family is able to like point an Inquisitor somewhere, we have like a lot of nuance that'll be taking us back to Malfi a few times.
And we got a comment. Hieronymus says it'd be funny if you lost your Cyber Mastiff.
Oh, that because you don't own that. That is property of the Arbites.
Oh, that would be why you got in trouble. Oh,
I like that. I like that. We're getting very Disco Elysium now.
Oh, well, I hear that's a really good game. I haven't played it, although
Ross here is actually starting a Twitch channel soon. She's going to be playing some very cool video games, and one of those might have to be Disco Elysium because it's really good.
I want to play it, and I have it on my Steam list, so yes, please do. And in case you're wondering about that, I am actually running I'm crowdsourcing a name on the Discord. If you want to check out the Lorebeards Discord, we have a very active community where you can come and actually vote on future topics for many of our shows, and you can get involved with giveaways and things of that nature, announcements. You get to be the first ones to know what we're doing, which is really cool. So please check out the Discord for Lorebeards and join us. And that way you can also vote. Just help me decide on what my Twitch stream name is, for example.
I only had to think about mine for about 2.5 years. No big deal. You'll do it super fast.
Micah says John Heresy is the perfect Twitch gamer tag. I like it.
That's pretty strong.
John Heresy. I like it. All right. So last question I have for you is there anyone? Wait, did I say what I idolize? I did not. I did not say
what
what
do you idolize? Who's like a cool idol?
I think I idolize the Inquisitor.
I can see it.
Yeah, Inquisitor. What's her name again? Schultes. Inquisitor Schultes. I'm like, yeah. Regis is like, that's the shit right there.
Yeah.
Shit right there.
Anti does not.
So
it sure is fun to be part of the necessary evil.
Just to warn you, says Fumark, that Cyber Mastiff was probably made with a human brain and not a canine brain, unless the planet has a local population of large, above average smart puppers.
Oh boy.
Well, the Calixtus sector does have many planets, so it would not be difficult to source a canine brain in that region. So just saying.
Wes says, no, you like that I idolize Inquisitor. What's her name?
Yeah. I mean, that's actually really good. Is he's like, yeah, I think she's awesome. Who, what's her name?
Oh, that's so good.
I think Regis in general has a hard time remembering names.
Well, he's
He's a kid, right? He's like,
he's a kid. He was drinking a lot in his teens,
Wesley used to say, so your brother's brain was in the Cybermastiff.
Oh boy. It was his last day being a dog.
Oh wow. Mendoza.
Oh god.
So now we've decided, a lot of things about our characters. Last thing I think I would like to ask is, who do you secretly hate?
Ooh. Who do I secretly hate? The Inquisitor.
Oh, wow. Wow.
The Inquisitor gives off a disturbing air.
I think I secretly hate Lord Hax, the Sector Lord.
Oh yeah, that makes sense actually. Yeah, okay.
I for some reason he's just like, man, fuck that guy. He doesn't like the way his head's shaped. He doesn't like any of his policies. He doesn't like the fact that he's ruling from Scintilla. I think Regis just has that weird stuck up his ass about somebody he's never met for no real good reason. It's just a lot of like petty bullcrap.
I like this super passionate, totally uninformed distaste for a politician. I bet he could name 0 things that the Lord has put into practice in the last like however many years. That's good fun.
Plot twist: the Lord is his father. Says Hieronymus.
That's a good bit.
Okay, I would feel weird like going up to the game master and be like, I'm secretly the son of the Sector Lord. But if they wanted to do it, I'd be okay with it. I'd roll with it.
Listen,
so I'm gonna say
you created a bastard. There's so much opportunity. That's perfect.
I mean, it would make a good story. I'll just put that out there, but I'm not gonna push it on the GM and say like it has to be this guy.
How did you approach that? Would you like say like here's a couple of ideas who the parents could be, or would you just leave it totally open and not worry about it?
I think if the game master was like interested in that, yeah, I would probably like say here's some thoughts. I think ultimately I'd like to be surprised. I think it's what I'd like to be. But I saw your tongue poke out. What are you thinking?
I'm pondering. It's a good. I'm just thinking. Like I like that angle. It's a lot of fun because we're already leaning toward this campaign that's going to be a very high flying kind of thing. Lots of urban intrigue, right?
Well, the next step. So just for anybody who's making Dark Heresy characters with us or is going to make a Dark Heresy group, once you've reached this point, like people have a pretty good idea of who they are. The next step is to try to figure out how to make them fit together, right?
Yeah.
Like, are there any shared events? We have a rivalry. We already have a rivalry, so that we don't need to worry about that. But there might be some overlapping beliefs or debts or things that might link characters together. We have a great link in that we are essentially rivals. Which is, I guess the rivalry here is that I'm always looking that she knows I'm immoral. Probably Anti probably knows that Regis is pretty amoral, and she's always kind of going to keep special eye on him. It's like, I don't trust that guy.
No, you need supervision at all times, or you will sell mission equipment.
Right, and I'm always trying to get out from under your watchful gaze and do something not necessarily nefarious, but certainly selfish.
Furthermore, we literally need each other because I have no way of like meaningfully communicating with most people we meet, and you will get killed if you are left with your own devices. So you need someone there with a big fucking stick who's ready to like just stand there and glare people down. So
Oh yeah, that's true. We're a great combo actually. It is we're the Quirkinodo, as Wesley points out. Actually he's got this comment here too. He says it's fun. I pulled that one on a player making his dad the big bad evil guy. And he found out after he killed the big bad evil guy.
oh no.
The player told him, I don't want to think about family, so you do it. And he's like,
no.
okay, I will.
That's gut wrenching. Oh my god.
Wow. That's wild. Love it. Love it. That
cry.
is that's a hell of a twist. If it's done right, like it's a hell of a twist.
Yeah, especially if there's like there are things that make sense retroactively, right after the reveal.
So, how grim a game do you think it's going to be with us two? Where's the limits with characters like us?
We've got a drugged out child who is a noble bastard and specializes in being traumatized by industrial equipment failure in the Spire and like Lower Hive, and we've got a
noir my fear of elevators is like it killed my family. Is that what you're saying?
More brothers, right? I imagine you've like seen someone get like bisected because like that's such a rational fear, right? Like, I'd like to imagine that kind of shit happens all the time in 40K because God knows that things needed repairs for 30 years. And I'm playing this like noir kind of like Blade Runner type creature who's treats violence as a first resort. The arbitrators are already kind of grim. I think we're going to have a pretty dark kind of game.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think we're in that nice sweet spot where it could be more. We're in a sweet spot where it could be one or the other. Like we could go more lighthearted, or we could go pretty darn grim. It just depends on what the game master wants to run.
I think that it almost makes sense to have both the highs and lows in the same game, though. Like when you're in that sweet spot, you have the option to really explore the breadth of the setting, and you can have like kind of silly scenes where you've got this kid in over his head, stacking lies, everyone else sweats, and it's kind of ridiculous. And you have like the really horrible thing where someone is dying in a really bad way, and you are trying to solve an entirely different problem because you don't have time for them. Like both of these things are possible.
I like it. One of the good news is we don't really have a meaningful power gap between us. You're very good at certain things, and I'm very good at certain things, but that's relative, right? I think we both still generally overall sucked. As much as a first, as much as a starting Dark Heresy character can. We just suck in different ways. Like, don't ask me to have any intellect, and don't ask you to talk to people. But other than that, like, I'm a good shot. I'm a pretty decent shot by Dark Heresy standards. I'm actually a quite decent shot.
Yeah, no, you're up to 40, and then you got your aptitude for las pistols, which I think las pistols like are any of them like accurate? Can you like aim action? It's been a little
I think some. Well, you can probably acquire one.
Yeah.
I think eventually I'd like to have some dueling las pistols. Yeah. And I'm ambidextrous, baby. That's actually probably one of his pickup lines. Is have you ever met anybody that's really good with both hands?
Oh, that's terrible.
Well,
this 17-year-old, this like wispy, yet to hit his growth spurt kid.
While you are a tank and a very skilled melee combatant, so there's that too. Also, you have really good willpower, if I remember right.
I do. I have really solid willpower, especially because I'm from Sentinel. It's like incredible, but it's up there, and I think I can increase it like relatively cheaply through Arbitrator.
Oh, Fumark has a question here. He says, I've always wondered how dangerous an Imperial Auditor's job is.
Ooh, I mean, Any like imperial job can become dangerous. I would say it depends where you are.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because like you're relatively high ranking as an auditor, right? But if you're sent to inspect places that are particularly suspicious, like you're kind of you're worth making disappear.
Wesley has more info on that big bad evil guy father bit. He says, to be clear, the player was okay with it, but it did shock him. Literally looked at me like, you piece of shit. Nice.
I would cry, dude.
Yeah, auditing Space Marines or Forge Worlds would make you, that would be dangerous. I agree. Yeah, you probably, if you're auditing the Space Marines, yeah, that's a scary place to be. Like, because there's some chapters that'll be like, you better not find anything wrong.
Yeah, like I feel like it's the kind of job that's incredibly boring until it's incredibly dangerous, which encapsulates a lot of things in 40K actually.
Yeah, the first few chapters of Interceptor City talks about the Departamento Munitorum and how they move supplies around and things like that in a war zone, and the paperwork and the monotony of that is actually surprisingly dangerous because the guys that drive the haulers are very they are under no illusions that they are a juicy target for the enemies of the Imperium.
Yeah.
And so yeah, if you're an auditor that's having to work with any kind of major supply issue in the midst of a war zone, yeah, I'd be a little worried about that too. Okay, so did we figured out that I am the one most likely to accidentally summon a demon. I've got another question for chat. What is our team's terrible unofficial nickname?
Oh no, for the dynamic duo here.
Well, we're just two members of
Right.
Inquisitor. God, I'm terrible with names. That's why I want my character to be terrible with names. What's Schloss?
Schulteis, it's a German name. It's spelled with this funny letter.
What? Start with the first name. I might remember that better.
Saranessa, or just Nessa.
Saranessa. Yeah, Saranessa. I can remember that much better than the last name. So Saranessa has a whole squad of acolytes. We're not just the only ones.
I'd say a cell should be at least 4, right?
Yeah, exactly. So what is the unofficial terrible nickname for Sarah Nessa's cell of acolytes? That's the question I'm going to ask chat. We'll come back to around to that. So put your thoughts out there. Hawk will hopefully help us keep track. But
Fumark asked, does Anti speak in the third person, full noir self-narrator style? If there is any justice, I will be doing our recaps. So
nice.
I was babysitting again. The kid had gotten into my stims somehow. He was rambling on about some idea, and the worst part, it wasn't bad.
It must be. Wow, that would be a rare occurrence with my intelligence. Very rare occurrence.
Something broken chrono, right? Twice a day.
Nice. So when you're role playing in Dark Heresy, there are certain things you need to either learn to adapt to or lean into. And that's things like corruption, fear, and faith. How do you do that without making it unappetizingly bleak?
So for corruption specifically, I think it is healthy to have a conversation about like both your insanity and your corruption. Look at things that are disorders or mutations that might suit the character's narrative and their aesthetic concept and play into their faults. I prefer this because I think it allows you to embrace the degenerative and damaging nature of exposure to the horrible and unclean things in the Dark Heresy world without feeling as if you're at risk of being stuck with a dynamic you really don't like for your character.
Yeah, I think, okay, so for me, I'm a man of a certain age, which means I've been playing role-playing games a very long time, and that means I've been playing Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay a very long time, which is kind of based on Dark Heresy is very similar to, it's based on Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. And when you play Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, and I'm sure Andy will actually maybe not fully agree, but he's got a very similar perspective on this. You go into that knowing your character, it doesn't necessarily have a long future ahead of them. You know, I think there's a buy-in for me anyway. When I play Dark Heresy or Wifrip, I know going into it that this character may not last the whole way. And I'm okay with that. Like, I feel like that's the cost. I feel like you buy your ticket to the ride, and that's the ride, you know, is that you could get thrown off of it at some point. My metaphors are getting very strange today.
No, I like this. It's like Hunter S. Thompson meets Safety Manual.
So I say that specifically with corruption, I don't worry about it too much. I mean, as a player, right? The player doesn't worry about it too much. Like I'm fine with, you know, corruption being a possible consequence of what we're doing. But that is because I also know the settings super, super well. So somebody that may not know the settings so well may feel like this is more punitive than fun to get corrupted, to become, you know, a mutant or something like that. It's worth having a conversation about at session 0, which we have a whole episode for.
This is true. Yeah, I would say group comfort level matters. I would also offer that, like, for me, there's often like a couple of ones in the list that I just really specifically do not want. Like the lolling tongue mutation, I think is just horrible, and I can't. I just don't want to engage with that. I think it's just like particularly unpleasant. Like the horror of it is genuine, but like it would reduce my fun at the table. So it's like, hey, can we re-roll if this comes up? That kind of conversation, right?
Fear is an interesting one. So a lot of people who play 40K roleplay come to it from the tabletop game. I'm not going to say not all players, but in my experience, let's put it that way. I'll say, you know, as an anecdote, many people I've met who play the role-playing game come from the miniature game. And in the miniature game, fear is very abstract. You know, you are a general commanding your army, and, you know, the models look cool, but are they really that scary when you're standing so far away from the action, right? So right. I think the fear part is making it personal, is making it intimate, is putting yourself not in the position of a general commanding an army, but in the position of a 17-year-old kid standing his ground in front of a charging Grox, you know, and going, "Oh God, what am I doing here?"
Yeah, like we talked about this a little bit the other day, especially for a character who otherwise is pretty bold and confident. It can like really have an impact at the table for them to suddenly be just terrified of what's happening. Like it's it hits hard when your character, who is generally pretty competent, pretty self-assured, pretty capable, is just absolutely terrified. Like in my 4E game, my fantasy 4E game, I play a war dancer. He's got like a very high cool score. Like I'm gonna check right now. I think it's like it's some absurd number, right? Yeah, like 73. Like this is not that's a very high total in a D100 game. We met a Cygor. And that was some terror rolls, and they did not go well. And the entire table remembers this because, oh shit, this is bad. It was effective. It was effective.
I think
even like outside. Oh,
go
go on.
No, please.
Even outside the mechanical relevance, like fear tests and things, like remembering that you're in an intense situation, even if you're handling it well, can help. Like bravery is not being scared; it's doing the thing anyway, right? So it's oftentimes more memorable and more impressive when a competent character is sort of just getting by and they're like freaked out and sweating and kind of trying to persevere while they perspire. Like these are effective things. It makes the entire game feel more immediate, you know? I would say this is the wrong setting to play a invincible type who fears nothing and is particularly brash. Like it's 40K in particular is not a Grail Knight space for most of us, right?
Well, I think that's worth a good conversation about the selling Like you talk about this a lot, this selling things that the game master is offering in the wrestling term, right? And I think selling fear is actually, I believe that's actually a sign of a good player, which we have a whole episode on that too, being a good player. So being a good player, Dark Heresy, I think is not necessarily leaning into fear, but at least selling it if it happens. If your character is afraid, sell it. Because it's actually it makes the game more immersive, not less, I think.
Yeah, like our characters have this dynamic where I'm sort of responsible for yours. And in a situation where I'm afraid, I have to like sell that concept while also trying to remain the rock, right? Which is easier said than done when I cannot approach the thing I am scared of.
Whereas Regis, if he fails a fear check and can't get closer, that's actually really good for him because he'll just get behind someone else.
Attaboy. The advantage of weighing 90 pounds is he can use a regular-sized human being as full cover, which is great.
And then there's faith. Faith is a big part of 40K, a big part of the Imperium, I should say. It's there is a state religion, the Imperial Creed, and it is overwhelmingly powerful. Like the strength and influence of the ecclesiarchy is extremely strong. So faith is a very common trope.
It cannot be overstated.
Right. How does your character how would your character interact with faith without making it too bleak? You said Saint Celestine is who you idolize, so you're clearly pious.
I don't know about that. I don't think you have to be pious to idolize who's effectively a martial hero, right? I think that there's a lot of lip service paid in the Empire. It's important to practice the faith. I think that it is not understood by a lot of citizens properly. I think that like the sign of the Aquila, like everyone's making it. It's like almost mandatory to effectively praise the emperor. Like that's how you say hello to people, right? Like it should be ever present in the setting, more or less. I think my character is disillusioned with reality and takes hope from faith, but I think that it is a bleak and distant thing. That Celestine is a inspiration because the idea that there's some kind of connection between belief and being able to affect meaningful change and like actually help people is something to take refuge in when that is not reality for her ever.
I think Regis is on the surface very secular, but I think at his core, I think he is very, very faithful. I think deep down he really wants the Emperor to be watching over him and everyone he loves. And I think he will probably scoff at like open displays. He'll be like, well, whatever. But you'll catch him on his own, probably in front of a shrine, like, praying for hours every so often.
That's so cool.
That's what I think.
I love that he like scores drugs and then goes praying.
So, Hawk, do we have a name for our team? I'll see if that has come up with the name for our group. And so Inquisitional cells, they often have themes of suspicion, fanaticism, and loyalty. How would you express that in this game?
I think that I'm playing the type who can go too far. Fanaticism in Warhammer often manifests as like hyper aggression against the Emperor's foes. If played straight, and you should play a lot of things straight in Warhammer, I think you can evoke some real horror by just taking things a little too far. Especially in the position of someone who has authority and can use violence. And that can really set the tone depending on how everyone is at the table, because there's like a tipping point in some investigations in Dark Heresy where you have the opportunity to start doing really bad things that will directly benefit what you're trying to accomplish. And how people react to and engage with that in character says a lot about who they are and how they conduct their investigations. And a lot of the time they are put in a spot where they kind of have to, where they kind of need to compromise somewhere. And that is where a lot of the drama can come from.
I think my character idolizing Inquisitor Serenessa. See, I got it that time.
Yeah.
Inquisitor Serenessa. I think if my character idolizes Serenessa, he probably does so from a standpoint of she's willing to sacrifice, she's willing to martyr herself. And that's admirable to him. You know, that's an all in at the gambling table. To, you know, that's how he sees it. Is she's gone all in on something, and that's to him that's like, wow, that's hey, you know, he appreciates that.
He is unfortunately a really good protege, which means he's probably damned. So
yep.
oh well.
Hey, yeah, he's very likely, I would say so.
Yay! How rad! Yeah.
That also means he's probably extremely loyal to her. Like,
and that's kind of what she wants is people who are, well, there's two kinds of people she wants. People who are like fanatically loyal to the Emperor and people who are fanatically loyal to her in particular. And either is usable in just a different way.
I think suspicion wise, it makes sense for your character to be very highly suspicious, right?
Yeah, of everybody.
I think I would probably be unfortunately, because of my low intellect, I'm probably easily fooled. I'm probably a lot less suspicious than I should be. Oh, there's real groks in these, you say? Well, I'll take 10.
Regis, what is a grox?
So, yeah, grok. Well, the character probably doesn't know.
Yeah. That's
in universe are these big lizard things that are essentially cows. Like they make groks. It's groks is like the 40K version of beef.
Okay. They're super cattle. They're just the best. They are easy to raise and easy to feed and grow fast and keep well and all the stuff.
Right.
They're edible.
I think our team name should be something, you know, not necessarily Latin, but if you use the word Gothic in there somewhere, that would be really cool. the Gothic crew, or the I don't know, Calixus Gothic or something. That'd be kind of fun. I don't know. I'm throwing out ideas.
I like it.
So I would say at this point, it's probably a good idea to encourage the players to create some personal goals that the Inquisition or the Inquisitor can exploit or reward. So what would be a personal goal for you?
I think that it would be like independent authority to take action, like sort of outside of structure, being able to mobilize, like
Dirty Harry? Are you like, I want to break the rules?
little bit. Because if we're compromising, I want to compromise in a linear way. Right? If we're already playing funny games, right?
Okay, I feel like you know, I did that personal faith thing, and that was like pretty meaningful and deep. So yeah. I feel like his personal goal should be fairly shallow.
I love it.
I think his personal goal is he wants like a really fancy car. Like the Inquisitor pulled up in some kind of, you know, either a gun cutter or a limo or, you know, something flashy, and he's like, I want that. That's his personal goal. I want a car. I want a really nice car.
I respect that kind of a hot rod vibe.
Yeah, well, he's 17. Like, I mean,
yeah, you know what?
I remember when I was 17. Yeah, Lamborghini was number one for me. Let me put it that way.
My boat's still number one.
Oof. I mean, they're nice cars. They are.
So Hawk has a cool question, I think. How far can you bend the character creation for Dark Heresy before it breaks? Like we discussed, Scythe aren't really possible, but Crude and Eldar can fit in. What about Abhumans, Votan, etc.?
To be clear, Slith are possible. It's not something you would never see in an Inquisitor's retinue. It's just unlikely and difficult.
I would say that a completely non-human body plan is a order of magnitude more difficult to deploy in a lot of missions and things, but there are game structures where you can have like a rotating cast and employ them for certain things and not others, right? Or have them in logistics and stuff. So there's options there.
Yeah, I think. Okay, so Karut and Eldar are far more accepted Xenos in the Imperium, but to be clear, no Xenos is ever fully accepted. They're always going to be looked at with suspicion. Abhumans, Rattlings, and Ogren, the Inquisition's like, cool, yeah, come along, and you will probably find you'll still be a second class citizen, but you'll be largely accepted. Other Abhumans like Felinids and Pelagirs and Nightsiders and the Afriel strain might have a harder time.
Yeah, more common abhuman strains are going to have an easier time. The Felinids in particular are in sort of a weird place with whether they're sanctioned or not. They're meant to be on Carlos McConnell and won't be recognized easily, but they're still more human than like a snake-tailed kind of creature, so they can cover up well. Like,
well, we don't know. We've never seen a Felinid. Like, and they might be full on. They might be like a Thundercats style. They might be like almost 90% human, or they might be like a cat girl waifu, or they might be all the way to Caitians from Star Trek, where they're like walking cats. So
you know the answer in your heart, all right? You already know. You know the answer, all right? You're aware. You can feel it. Whatever that answer is.
They're waifus.
Whatever they are, they are more human than a Scythe. So they are.
Yes,
in the worst case, can be like passed off. Because like if you've got an Eldar, even you can just kind of cover their features, armor them up, and wrap them in rags and whatnot, and just say don't worry about it. Like demand people not worry about it. That's harder to do if there's like a trailing ooze behind somebody, right?
Now there is a really interesting abhuman type called Neandors, and Neandors are what do you think Neandors are, Vera?
If I recall, they are literally a sort of Cro-Magnon analog. They are like a older branch of the human genome who is like the missing link almost.
Yeah, well, technically we're Cro-Magnons, to be clear. Neanderthals were the separate species from Cro-Magnon.
Oh yeah, okay, so they're before the branch. Okay, they're before that branch. Excuse me, my biology is like I teach English. Okay, I'm like a language teacher.
No big deal. It's not a detail I expect a lot of people to remember.
I have the gist of it.
Yeah, but Neandors are basically cavemen, and I think a Neandor character would fit in very well to Dark Heresy.
They are so blessed and so ignorant.
And then Votan was the last thing he mentioned. Votan would fit in pretty well, I think. They'd still be second class citizens because of the disdain for abhumans. But they actually have like full on merchant guilds, and on Necromunda they have like a functional like society. So yeah, I think they would be all right.
That'd be a really fun like tech use specialist for the party. Also, they're stocky. They've got expertise. They're a little bit of a renegade. It'd be a very different dynamic to having a priest of Mars, which is sort of your alternative. Usually, you can do a priest of Mars. You can do a grunt of some kind who's got expertise, often from the guard. Can like cook las packs or whatever, or maybe a Votan. Cool.
Hawk says, okay, but beastmen. Yeah, that's really hard. that's about as hard as a Slith.
Aren't they like properly not sanctioned anymore? Isn't the gag is that like they're just like off the list, like no more of these?
Beastmen occupy a very strange space in the lore. So in first edition, the Rogue Trader edition, they were you could have entire regiments of them in the Imperial Guard. They were cannon fodder for the Astra Militarum, and they've been eased out of that role over time. We know that they were still being used in the Great Crusade, for example. Since then, their appearances as Imperial, as a thing in the Imperium, has been greatly downplayed. They show up now mostly in novels, and there is a bounty hunter on Necromunda who is a beastman, but the general idea about beastmen, at least from what I understand about the lore and what I believe is the most likely result, is that beastmen are the easiest abhuman in the world for the ecclesiarchy to point at and say, heretic, you with the goat face, you're heretic.
It's Satan. I like the narrative beat that they were expended in the Crusade, and then once they were no longer necessary, they decided to decategorize them as a sanctioned variant of abhuman. I think that's like neat administratum practice-wise, like what it suggests about disposability and so on is very thematic to me. So I like them as like very difficult to deploy and perhaps kill on sight outside of like certain quarantine planets.
Living Legend 6986 says, my rule of thumb is if you can have it in Necromunda, you can have it in an Inquisitor retinue. That's not bad. And to be clear, you can, an Inquisitor has the authority to just say, yeah, this guy, he's okay. He's sanctioned.
This is my purple-headed, like giant craniumed associate, Gene Steele.
That's his name, Gene Steele. Yeah,
Mr. Steele. He prefers Gene, though.
We're not sure why. No, sincerely, I think Beastmen could be in an Inquisitor's retinue. It's just that's in terms of least problematic to most problematic, they're on the most problematic end of that spectrum.
Yeah, because remember, you can have a Daemon host in your retinue. Why not? That's fun. You shouldn't probably, but it's kind of doable.
Eisenhorn paves the way once again.
Yeah, I got it. You're sure doing it.
So I think if you guys are excited about building Dark Heresy characters like we are, why don't you send us your character concepts? Come on board Discord and tell us what you made for this particular group, which still doesn't have a name. And you can actually use our approach with all the weird questions that we asked, but those are things that are outside of the book, to be clear. And just let us know how it went. If you enjoyed the process, if you didn't enjoy the process. Dark Heresy is one of those games where the character creation is a little bit complex, but not overly complex. I would say it's in the if you scale 1 to 10, where 10 is like 4th edition Shadowrun or Wrath of Glory, and 1 is closer to Lasers and Feelings or anything with like super fast character creation,
Dungeon World or something.
Dungeon World, yeah. Then Dark Heresy is probably a 5 or a 6 on that scale. Maybe a 6, I guess. Yeah.
I would say the majority of character creation was like figuring out like who the character is and what they're about, rather than like how they function mechanically, which I would say is like ideal. I think it's a good balance because you really want to like get in that head and you want to be able to interact nicely and like develop them as a person. That makes the game feel richer, right? Like,
Vera, can you take over for a little bit? I'm going to run off and do a bio break.
Yeah, go ahead, please. Hi. Yeah, though, I think it's a nice thing to really flesh out these energies and like how the dynamics work. With a larger party, you have more room to fill in space and develop more complicated webs of intrigue. Like there's schools of thought where you develop a whole relationship mesh, like this character and this character are friends, right? But then this character over here hates this guy, but really wants to be this guy, and like creates these different tensions in the group, which can work quite well. It's me. We did find a even bigger button also. We'll deploy that in a little bit. Need more hope? A little bit of hope in this setting is nice. I think that Dark Heresy runs well when there's like little glimmers of change. Every so often, your party should feel like they've made like an actual difference, because if it's just totally inevitable, nothing matters, bleak, you wind up having a very sad kind of game where you never feel like you have agency. And part of the idea is that the characters, the retinue, does have some agency in a environment where most people don't have any at all. So you want to give them a win sometimes, and they should have to work for it, but it can happen. Like the Giants, you won 40K. Da 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 da. It's my kaiju form. A proper giant in 40k is a challenge for void ships, I would say. Ogren kind of pushed the limits already in a lot of cases. Yeah, a little bit of humor is nice. I think that it's often the job of the players to add a little humor. I do think that a lot of things in Warhammer should be played mostly straight, and they just become humorous by virtue of how ridiculous they are. There's a bit of a nuance there, like finding the humor. We've talked about this a little bit during our running the game, I believe, but you'll find it, I promise. It is inevitable. Silly things happen. Hi, Ross. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you very much. What else would you like to cover today for Dark Heresy character creation? Do you have thoughts on how it went?
Yeah, I think that it went pretty friggin' well. I quite like our little pair of foils. I think they would run really well at a table. I think that we've got the kernel of a great party. I hope that I'm not the only one who thinks so, but
I agree. I also think so. Yeah.
Yeah, like this is an example of a good character creation session, I would say. Like these are fun. I would enjoy playing anti. I think that it'd be a neat little thing.
Sweet. Yeah, I agree. This is it went fairly quickly too. Like we built characters. It took us 2 hours, but that's with a lot of back and forth, a lot of yakking with the chat. I think if you sat down and just did this on your own, you're probably looking at closer to 45 to 90 minutes at most.
Yeah, I would say so. I think that that'll go up like the more people are building a character.
And the more you have to explain the universe.
Yes, if you're starting from scratch about 40k, you have to like begin at the beginning and go through the entirety of the Horus Heresy, and then you've got to go and start parsing through wiki articles and so on. So after your first 2 weeks of prep, you can then begin creating characters. But
I like this comment. Rothian Furman says, when everything is grimdark and bad, less people stay invested. Okay, I mean, to be clear, I mean, I have met people who are really into that part, but I hear you. Rothian says, I don't like grimdark, so I look for the parts that are not to put my investment in. Well, good news. There's a lot of silly stuff in 40k, and I love the silly stuff. I like to lean into that as much as I can. So you can find it. There's a lot of tongue-in-cheek bits. There's a lot of like weird references to movies and films and real world characters, real world people.
Yeah, I would say you see less of that in more modern books, but I think that there's still a like strong lineage of this kind of humor, and like the kind of character that you make for your table also has a big impact on the dynamic. Like if you play someone that's like naturally going to lead themselves into a kind of goofy scenarios, you will find them. It's the nature of the game, right? The vibe of your party will reflect the people within it, you know?
Well, and also good news. The particular framing of Dark Heresy involving the Inquisition means that anything you want to be true can be true, and anything you want to be a lie can basically be a lie. The Inquisition is one of those places where if you want to lean into something that's a little less grimdark, you can say, okay, so the Inquisition has decided that this very dark thing over here is really just a smokescreen for something way more mundane. And the bureaucracy of the Imperium can be really funny. I'm not saying you don't necessarily need to make it jokey. But if you prefer something less grimdark, it's easy to legislate away the grimdarkness from the standpoint of the Inquisition, just saying, yeah, that's either don't worry about it or it's not true, because they have the authority to just do that.
Pretty much. Like you've got the opportunity to engage in these sort of Kafkaesque complexities or get into like kind of nonsensical scenarios or run like very serious horror games. So there's a wide range and stuff you can figure out like in session 0 and so on.
Well, I got to be honest, when we had Mike Mason on and he was talking about how Call of Cthulhu influenced Dark Heresy and then how Dark Heresy influenced Call of Cthulhu, I was starting to realize that I had not really looked at Dark Heresy like a Call of Cthulhu game, but you could.
Oh yeah, no, it works. It has the bones for it. And furthermore, it runs as such that you can have an entirely mundane, by comparison, investigation followed by a mission that goes to hell, like almost literally.
True. I have been a part of Dark Heresy campaigns where the group was not so into insanity and corruption, and we left that off the table, and it was fine.
Oh yeah,
Everything worked just fine. So there's mechanics that you don't necessarily have to get involved with. Like Vera was like some of the mutations she's not into. No big deal, right? It's a fairly flexible setting and a fairly flexible game to adjust the grimdark dial. And Hawk says nobody's more grimdark than anti talking to Regis.
little bit. I wound up playing some kind of Maltese Falcon-esque creature, so.
All right. What else should we discuss, you think, here?
Any questions is one thing about character creation in Dark Heresy or otherwise.
Oh, we got a super chat. Mickey Stopwatch. Thank you so much for the super chat, Mickey Stopwatch.
Yeah.
Since today's stream was character creation, besides the great questions Ross had throughout his run, hey, thank you. Vera had good questions too. I want to point that out. Are there any tips?
More?
Actually, so I think you should answer this one to balance the scales. Are there any tips and tricks you have for a GM to facilitate players engaging with the character creation systems?
Yeah, so I think one thing that can help a lot is to instruct people to not come in with a fully developed character to their session 0. I think it's good to go through these steps together as a group for a couple of reasons. Especially if somebody is not like fully confident as to like what they might want to do, they can find their place naturally and not feel as if they're like slotting in last, like finding the one seat at the table that's left open. I think it can be really useful to encourage them to think about the character from all sorts of angles. Like, the great questions are part of a broader practice of thinking of the character as a living and breathing person. And the more invested you get in that character idea, the more you care about like who they are and what they're like, the easier it is to naturally bring them forward in play. And furthermore, the easier it is to come with cool dynamics between your characters at the table. So it becomes a much richer experience that way. I think that it's hard to like overthink these broad ideas about who they are, what they might have been. And it's far easier than writing up like a 10-page backstory, which I have done this before. I'm very sorry to my GM. So there's a few methods you could use, right? Like you can do that if you want, but I wouldn't bring it into session 0. Like, character creation systems are there to lead you through this process that is going to reflect on what your group is like, because the dynamic is shaped very much by who the characters are, how they get along. This will go on to determine how your players approach problems, how they navigate all sorts of complex situations, and it's good to do it together. You're all in the same boat for the duration of the campaign. I think it's appropriate to bounce off one another throughout, kind of like we did here. It was fun, right?
And bouncing off each other really helped build that character. Like trying to do that isolated and alone is much harder. So 40K in general its lore is very, very deep. We have a whole channel. Where we just do deep dives on an incredibly deep lore. So I guess when Vera said, about the overthinking, that's exactly where I was going to go, is like, don't overthink it. And don't be afraid to start small. One of the things that's great about Dark Heresy is you can just roll randomly for everything. And that can be a good way to quickly get into the game without having to learn a whole lot of lore. Alternatively, start small. Just pick a home world, pick a world from the map, that wonderful map, that really cool map. I think that's an Andy Law, I believe, map. Let me just double check.
He's in there.
I'm pretty sure that is
the illustrious Andy Law.
It is. Yeah. Andy Law cartography. So pick a world from the map and just say, I'm from here. And all you have to learn is one world. You don't have to learn everything. But if you want, so you're saying engage with the character creation systems. I assume that's the random tables. I guess I would say is like just talk up the benefits of the little details, because in a grimdark universe, the little details can take an otherwise bland character and make them something precious and make them something unique.
Yeah, and furthermore, I would say that like if there's moments where somebody goes, "Oh, I don't like that. I want to do this instead." Just let them. It's fine. Like 4E has XP penalties and things associated with this, which is one method of motivating randomization. But like there's a psychological trick where as soon as somebody flips a coin, they often know which outcome they're hoping for, even if they didn't before. Sometimes it's feeling a little bit cut off from an option. They see, you're like, no, I kind of want that instead. Just enable that. Screw it. Like it's meant to be fun. It's meant to be a character they can occupy for a long time. So,
well, if you are really excited about the idea of like using random tables, then come into it with an open mind. I did not have a 17-year-old runt in mind. My first thought was, far more, what's the word? Mature, and far more, normal sized person in my brain. But now I'm loving the idea of this 17-year-old runt as a character, and it's not something I would have chosen to do. But by being open to the randomization, being that is part of the character creation tables, that really helps.
Yeah, and even then you had a touchstone that you liked, though. Like I knew that I wanted to play into Scintilla, for example, and not roll that. You wanted to be a noble from the world, so it's solid to have like a couple of these possibly. There's no like absolutely right or wrong way to go about it. I guess it comes down to what gets you excited and what the group has decided on, what they feel is going to be the most fun and fair and forward.
Well, I mean, some of it is choice. Like we chose to engage with the memento, right, and say this is cool and important and something that I want to highlight. I guess pick your battles is the other thing. Is like, what is, if you're the GM and you're trying to get them to engage with the systems, figure out what's the most important part for them to engage with, which may be something as simple as the mementos, or it might be as simple as rolling randomly for their home world. But it could also be something like that question about how do you view the Inquisition? Maybe that's your really important point. So pick your battles.
Like the crux of character creation could be like, what's the worst thing you've ever done, right? It could be a lot of things. It depends on what's important to you and the kind of narrative you want to tell.
Fortunately, Dark Heresy is pretty flexible. Again, if you just want to get right into it, you don't want to think about it too hard, cool. Roll a bunch of dice. You're done. If you do want to think about it, if you are interested in like diving a little deeper, you can do that. Maybe like Vera says, one of the tricks is to do it as a group at the table rather than individually at home. Alternatively, I guess I would say is maybe present some examples of how the character creation systems can make something interesting, can be useful.
A really good way as a GM to facilitate players engaging with the character creation systems is to show them the VOD of this stream and have them spend about 2.5 hours watching it, and they'll be like, "Whoa!"
Right. Yeah, just show them a video that's hours long. That's simple.
This will explain everything.
Okay. So honestly, though, we do live in an era where streaming games is a thing, right? Like, and this was not true for me because I started playing at E3, and there's a big difference between handing somebody a 400-page book and showing them a video of people actually playing it, right? There's a very big difference between those two things. So it can be the case of, hey, are you familiar with Critical Role or Dimension 20? And maybe give them some concrete examples of what a character looks like at a table. That couldn't hurt.
No, and like quite seriously, I was making a Fabula Ultima character for the first time. I went through like several videos on YouTube where they just made builds for the game and talked about like what they did and why, and like that's what we did here today, and it's actually useful, like to see that kind of connection. I think so.
Okay, so thinking back on today's experience, I thoroughly enjoyed it, but again, I'm super biased. Like I was literally in charge of this line for years.
Hey, pretty cool game line there.
Yeah, I like don't. So here's your giant grain of salt that Ross super liked it, but I think the things I liked about it was that all the ways in which there were places I could see to be creative with the character. At the same time, I think we did have a couple of moments where we weren't sure what the next step was, and there were a couple of moments where it felt weird to roll for wounds and fate points. Like I feel like that could be some real feel bad moments at the table. So those are aspects of the character creation that I'm not a big fan of. Sorry, Mike Mason. Sorry, buddy. But yeah, those two parts I'm like, I kind of would prefer if we all just had a, having said that, I love D&D where a wizard can have 6 hit points in the fight, the barbarian can have 12. So I don't know.
Well, I tend to force average at level 1 in D&D and also force average on wounds and fate and Dark Heresy. So
I think that's a much better way to go. Rather, it just felt weird to roll for things that, especially if you're a new player, you're not sure what the value of those are. Like what's a fate point? What's a wound? And it's one thing for you to tell me, but I'm really not going to understand it until I fight something and get hurt.
Yeah, and like it's very thematic for fate, especially it's decided by chance, but it also is the most potent feel bad because ooh, Nelly, that's rough.
Hawk Oddly says people do learn differently. Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
I agree. So that's my review of the character creation in Dark Heresy. Mostly good with a couple of minor niggling issues.
It's pretty friggin' cool though. You get some neat stuff out of it.
What did you? Okay, so
I love this, by the way. I love the Maltese Falcons as a custom chapter. Just I like noir. I'm kind of into black and white. So
yeah. So Rush 21129. Do you want to read it?
Yeah. My BT/BA custom chapter is the Maltese Falcons. Their homeworld was destroyed by orcs. They are nomadic on a crusade for a homeworld. They venerate Urda and are Astartes.
Huh. Well, first of all, them being aware of Urda and Astartes is kind of big. That's like a wow, deep cut even for Space Marines. Very, very deep cut.
The Perpetuals are cool, man.
Can be. I'm a little on Perpetuals, to be clear, but not especially my favorite part of the lore.
I like all the deep cut stuff. I think it's fun for profound heresy.
Yes, but a chapter called the Maltese Falcons is funny. I like that.
Yes. The Maltese Falcons, excuse me.
Oh, Falchians?
Even better.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Falchians. The Maltese. Oh, that's a great pun name. I love pun names.
I'm a pun enjoyer.
The Maltese Falchians. Ah, that's beautiful. Okay, love it. Love it. What about you guys? Is there parts of the character creation that you found to be clunky or that you found to be particularly interesting? Let us know in the chat if you guys are out there, or again, go to the Discord and comment and we will read those as well. Mickey Stopwatch says you're dead anyway if almost anything of note is hitting you. That can be true in Dark Heresy because life is short in Dark Heresy.
I think it's a response to this as well. Nobody else were able to roll a 1 HP wizard, Benjamin says.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's cool.
But if you think about it, everyone in Dark Heresy is a 1 hit point wizard anyway. If somebody gets out a heavy bolter or a las cannon, which are depressingly common.
Well, that's when you get to see all those exciting crit tables. Big fan of those.
Oh, the crit tables, God, yes. I guess that is the flip side, right? It's like in Call of Cthulhu, you can just get killed almost casually by a lot of the monsters that you fight. In Dark Heresy, that's the same is true, but at least you'll go out in spectacular fashion with the crit tables. Yeah. You will be remembered that time that your femur exploded in your arm.
My critique of character creation is there's no way to roll on the crit table during it. I think that's a mistake. Call Mike back and be like, "Hey, we need a new edition of this.
Why isn't there crit tables in character creation?
We can do better, damn it. Come on."
Oh, that's funny. Y'all are killing me. So Rush says he's painting something right now. Oh, this is his custom chapter he's painting. Okay, that's cool. Well, hey, on the Discord we have in the 40K area, we will review your minis occasionally on Lorebeards 40,000. So if you're going to paint them up, go put them over there. And I promise I will stop pimping the Discord. I apologize. It's just there were so many opportunities.
It's a cool zone.
Wesley asks, what would that make you extra tall? A crit on character creation. That's an interesting idea because you can roll 0-1 and you can roll 0-0 on any of these charts. And that would be an interesting addition.
That's kind of how it works in a fantasy, actually, because if you roll like a 99 or a 0-0, you're an elf. So
I think that would be a lot of fun to go back to Dark Heresy. Well, so just so you know, Dark Heresy is going to have its 20th anniversary in a couple of years. And I've already kind of roped in Mike Mason to do something special. Maybe one of the things we'll do is add crits to character creation on the tables. Because that would actually be really fun to roll on the height chart and get a crit fail or a crit success and see what happens. Can you be Slender Man in 40K? Can you be, a little person in 40K? Would you be mistaken for a ratling?
I think it can happen with height and 4E also, where you like roll again if you hit the max or something like this. I might have to check, but it's kind of neat. Like you get like really a wide range because the super rare scenario can happen, as it does in the real world, where you get people who are exceptionally tall sometimes, or the opposite.
Yeah, Hawk points out that the femur is not in your arm. That's some serious chaos corruption. He says, apologies. Hey, I may know some obscure facts, but apparently anatomy is not one of them.
All right, you have anatomy. I have the lineage of human development. So.
Between the two of us, we're going to get a lot of stuff wrong.
Yeah. Hieronymus, thank you for the super chat. Ross, did you read this?
What do you think, says Hieronymus? Will Anti and Regis reach their 30s?
Oh, boy.
I think that can only be determined during play. Like,
it's going to be an uphill battle for both of them. Anti's got a head start.
Yeah, well, you're definitely tougher and have better armor.
And I'm a few years older, so
that's a really good start. That's a super good start. If it's a combat heavy game, Regis is probably not going to reach his 30s. If it's more intrigue, then Regis probably will. That's what I think. But
we're gonna keep him safe in combat. We're gonna protect the president.
I've had games like that, and they can be super fun.
It's pretty neat to have like one character who is just totally not suited to being in the battlefield, and yet they're there.
Yeah, a lot. Actually, we talked about this in our DMing 101, the mascot, right? The idea of a mascot. Regis could technically be a mascot, although he's like way too good with a gun to be a mascot.
He's got his skills.
Right. But you can have it can be a thing where groups will sometimes gravitate towards either a player character or an NPC and decide that they must be protected at all costs. So it might be Anti. Like, I really like Anti, and
oh shucks.
And with Regis's admiration of martyrdom, maybe he'd embrace that chance to be like, no, Anti will live even at the cost of my own life.
I will say I'm a sucker for characters who are completely not suited to combat. I almost never play this kind of creature because I am a sucker for like choreography and theatrical descriptions of violence. But I think it's great fun to have someone who is just totally has no business being anywhere near violence, but is yet essential to the group in other ways.
So, fun fact, you can put Dark Heresy as a layer or filter over something like Feng Shui and have it completely over the top, well choreographed fight scene Inquisition game.
The martial heroes of the Imperium. Fascinating.
Okay, even weirder idea. Use Dark Heresy as a layer over Exalted and see what happens.
Oh my god.
Right?
It turns into like Imperial Saint Black Crusade almost. Like, what is this? We're like, I idolize Saint Celestine. I'm gonna channel her power. Like, what? We're playing a new game now. Interesting.
I like creativity and I like messing around with different rule systems. There's a guy who has threatened for years to run a convention game. We have a great gaming convention here called Genghis Khan.
Love
and
it.
he's been threatening to run a convention game where every character is a different rule set. Right? That look on your face.
Like that, Ross. That's fantastic.
Difficult, very difficult. This is the Iron GM level. Like, wow, you're a champ if you can do that.
I feel like when you can do that, you have to like just see the code. This is like an awakened kind of GMing where you're able to somehow parse through all of these.
Hawk says, "Oh my God, Blades in the Dark Heresy."
I really do like a good clock system. I think it's just nice. So this really does work, frankly.
Oh, we missed a step. We didn't buy anything. Well, I only have 15 credits. I'm not buying shit. So the answer, Frumark, is Regis is not buying anything. He's keeping his 15 credits. But you had some credits to spend if you wanted.
Yeah, how much did I have a healing check? I had 59 thrones. Incredible.
That's not nothing. If you wanted to purchase something.
Buy an item. I'm gonna buy an item. What's a purchasable item? Hang on.
So yeah, this is Wesley says it depends on the amount of DT they managed to get. DT, what's DT? Damage threshold?
That sounds right.
Sorry, Wesley, so I don't know exactly what that's referring to. But you're right that it is a lot of times it does depend on how defensive you could be. Godzilla says BattleTech. Actually, BattleTech did it. There is a whole game called BattleTech Gothic, which, I mean, if you like What If BattleTech but 40K, it literally exists. Go check it out. It's not a flavor of BattleTech. I mean, I'm a big BattleTech fan. Let me be really clear. I'm a big BattleTech fan. It's not a flavor that works for me, but it might work for you. So go check it out.
I like the BattleTech video games. A friend in my group was attempting to make a D100 BattleTech system for a while, but it stalled out because it's a pretty big effort to get like all the like death from above mechanics and stuff implemented. It was 3D space, so it's a little awkward.
Fumark says, "I'm sure if you changed your perspective, you'll find deals so good they must be heresy." Buy Grabthar's hammer. What a bargain. Regis is going to invest in Emperor coins on the New Sphere.
Oh my God.
Crypto. Oh God.
We can't have the 40K crypto, bros. That truly is grim and dark.
That's almost too dark for me.
He does have 23 in.
That's true. I would be all. You know what? If somebody decided to sell me a bridge on Malfi, I'd probably say that's a great investment. Maybe that's why I only have 15 thrones left. Con man took advantage.
Squandered your inheritance, yeah.
Oh shit! Maybe that's how we met.
Boy,
you were busting a con man, and I'm like, yeah, that guy.
That punk.
Yeah, that's great.
All right. Okay. So I have two options. For my my throne purchase. All right.
Okay.
I can get a stub revolver that I can't use but is really cool, or I can get a rebreather, which is also really cool, but I that's more practical.
You know what? Never underestimate a rebreather.
Oh yeah, no, it's a good item.
I played Shadowrun several times. I love Shadowrun. It's one of my favorite games. And a buddy of mine showed up with one of those cyber air tanks, like a internal air tank. And I looked at him and was like, why did you pick that? That seems weird. He says, "Oh, don't you worry. You're gonna be jealous of me." And you know what? I absolutely was jealous of that guy because he was able to get out of so much crap by having an internal air tank. It was wild. Totally changed my perspective on the value of being able to breathe even when you shouldn't be able to breathe.
No, it's good. It's good. It's like better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, right?
Well, if you here's the thing is it opens up a whole new group of tactics to use.
Yes. Yes. You can deliberately create situations where it's necessary. You can take unexpected lines. You can do a lot of cool stuff.
Oh, and there are worlds. I think is it Fink's world? That's a swamp world. There's worlds in the Calixia sector that have a lot of shallow water, where being able to submerge is essentially invisibility. So I'm just saying, if you don't mind getting a little muddy, there's definitely worlds in 40K where it would be of a great advantage to have it. So the value of being able to breathe, high value, I think, says Wesley. I know. It's I'm not always good at phrasing things, so apologies.
No, it is good though. Like it's one of those. It's easy to like take for granted, right? Like because you're not thinking about like possible situations where there's all sorts of debris or smog when you're doing character creation necessarily. You're like, oh, it's weight, it'll be in my back all the time. It's annoying, but then sometimes it's really nice.
Hawk asks, Ross, are you planning on playing the Harebrained Studio Shadowrun games? Well, I am now. Those are great games. Gosh, yeah, it's been too long. I would love to play those again. Yeah, wow, I'm gonna have to add that to the list.
So, are you planning on playing like mostly RPGs than like CRPG style things?
Only because that's a lot of what I really like. I'm a big fan of.
Great.
I'm a turn-based tactics guy.
KOTOR.
Shadowrun has a lot of turn-based stuff. And I really love RPGs. I've been like plowing through several playthroughs of Fallout New Vegas after Fallout 2. But anyway, that's I don't want to.
Dark Souls.
Okay, I've never played that. That would be like one of those things where if fan demand, I might do it. But I don't want to do it.
I'm the fan.
I don't want to do it. Let's see. There's a. Does the Dark Heresy have a corruption system? Asks Umark. It does.
Yes.
Actually, you know what? I think we've been going at this a little strangely because we've been assuming most people know what these things are. Would you like to describe what is the corruption system, Vera?
The corruption system is arguably the most important thematic mechanical element in all the Warhammer games. Wherein exposure to the Taint of Chaos has an indelible mark that it leaves on the soul and the body, and over time, being in contact with and proximal to the stuff of chaos, whether it's like through internal cognition of what that might be, or through touching something yucky, over time, you will twist inside and out into something that is essentially a puppet of chaos, and you can resist this through an iron will or through just being like really having strong fortitude, but generally it's a sliding slippery slope down once it gets started, because the effect that chaos has on the mind makes you a worse person, and the effect it has on the body isolates you. So
corruption isn't necessarily the end of the line. Like it doesn't mean that you will absolutely turn into a chaos spawn or anything that bad, but it can create, like, I think the most interesting part of corruption is that it can make you a mutant. It can mutate your body. Now, as Vera's pointed out, not all of the mutations are enjoyable, but for a certain type of player who is kind of interested in some Cronenbergian options, I like the risk. I like the I might become a mutant. So I'm kind of okay with it. Also, there are ways to get rid of it, especially in Ascension, which is a source book for Dark Heresy. We published a lot of ways for you to scour your corruption away, and none of them were pleasant, to be clear. Like, getting rid of corruption is not pleasant, but it's possible.
Yeah, and I would say they're pretty important thematically, these corruption mechanics, because a lot of Warhammer's cosmology, like the big ideas, are about the taint of chaos and the threat of chaos, and this is how it plays out on the small scale, is it warps you.
Yeah, there's also insanity, which is a thing. I think more people are familiar with like insanity as a role-playing tool because of it's a big part of Call of Cthulhu, for example. Oddly, it's like a really big part of most Palladium games.
Really?
Okay, so I'm a man of a certain age, so I started playing games in the in the early 80s and 90s, and towards the end of the 80s, we had games like Robotech and Rifts for Palladium and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. All three of those games feature a very detailed insanity table, which confused me greatly because I watched a lot of Robotech and I didn't see a lot of crazy people. Like, you could argue Chiron was maybe a little crazy, or certainly General Edwards when you get to Sentinels. Mm-hmm. But that's like two characters out of like 50. You know, it was an odd thing to put into a game about, you know, romance and aircraft carrier action. Which is basically what Robotech is. And I was always like, that's weird. Palladium just has a strange like fascination with putting insanity into almost all their games. Also, everybody knows boxing because it gives you an extra attack in Palladium for some reason.
Yes, it's the martial world. This too can be exalted, right?
But insanity points can acquire over time. I actually had a lot of fun with this in Rogue Trader. My character, Sarvis Trask, never got corruption, always got like the maximum insanity. Like, if there was an opportunity to get insanity, for some reason I would roll very poorly and I would always get like the maximum amount. So I went a little nuts, and that was kind of fun. You know, it's of course that's a session 0 discussion of like, you know, how do we handle insanity? You don't want it to be too jokey because it is, you know, it can't, well, I don't know. It depends on your group. Like, some people may not want it to be too jokey. Some people may not want it to be too serious.
I mentioned something when we were talking to Mike last week that I think may have been very confusing out of context, where we started talking about beavers and Call of Cthulhu. And I found the source for this. And I mentioned this because there is an actual play. This is a Japanese actual play that was like animated and drawn over of Call of Cthulhu with a ridiculous narrative about people being like transmigrated. This is like an isekai concept into like funny little animals. And it's played using Call of Cthulhu. And I bring this up again because they kept the insanity mechanics in this like absurd wacko story where they're all like just laughing the entire time. I posted it in the RPG chat in the Discord. It's a Discord plug. I got one in too. Hey. It's very funny because like Mike was saying, it's like just such a huge popular thing in Japan, and people are playing these absurd scenarios with insanity rules. So as they're going about this total nonsense, they're also like slowly going mad, which is fantastic.
Oh, Wesley said that DT equals downtime.
Yeah.
You know, interestingly enough, that is one aspect of Dark Heresy that I don't think was covered enough, which was like the idea of downtime and what you do in your downtime. That would be a fun thing to talk about in the 20-year celebration as well. Like, what are some downtime mechanics we can work in? I think there are games that do some really good job of presenting you with options of things to do when you're not adventuring. And it would be fascinating to see how that was handled in a Dark Heresy context.
Yeah, I would say there's like a really rich potential for it in the Dark Heresy format, because a lot of the time you're going to have like Inquisition resources to tap into. There's just a lot of opportunity. You have a lot of reach in many cases. I think that's fertile soil. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I mean, I can certainly see Anti wanting to like do some patrols or possibly, you know, volunteer some of her time at a local precinct or something like that.
Yeah, in between jobs, I like to relax by doing volunteer work as a cop.
whereas Regis would be in his downtime probably searching for female companionship or scheming, or both. maybe finding a nice rich young lady with low self-esteem would be probably one of his things he would probably be doing.
I see that Anti is spending her downtime as a chaperone.
Well, in that case, says Anti, I have a new plan.
The literal fun police is here.
Wow. I love it. That sets up some pretty interesting combinations. Actually, so downtime is really important, I think, in a role-playing game. And this can be something as simple as resting for the night. In Dungeons and Dragons, like, we're going to take a long rest. Is a very common thing to do.
Yes.
And I've always seen that as a really great opportunity for little things that could add to your character story. Just maybe talking to someone else about something in your background, or that little memento that you have, or just even asking questions like, hey, where are you from? And engaging in that conversation. That is a really good thing to do during a downtime. Dark Heresy doesn't have, I mean, there's not really a long and short rest mechanic, but you could probably find a way to do it.
Yeah, I think the natural place I found that during my Dark Heresy games is literally post-session, after we like return from whatever our job is. Like, we bridge that into like, okay, well then we're like here in the vessel, we're like standing around or like getting back to our ship or wherever we're camped out at. That's sort of the natural break point. But I think that having a structured chance for this is like really useful, because like you said, it's a moment where there's no immediate pressure from like the job, which is deliberately, I think, what Dark Heresy is focused on, is like super high pressure environments where there's a lot of high stakes and people are going to die whether or not you do things right. So having a little bit of time to block out what your character might get up to, what defines them, and when they have the space to define themselves, is pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. So that's blue booking, as we pointed out in our How to Be a Good Player, I think, episode. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Also, we had that really cool concept about the idea of the gangs on board an Imperial ship, right? What if the warriors, but on board an Imperial ship that's crashing into a planet?
Warriors!
Can you dig it? Yeah, can you dig it? I think that would be a fucking amazing setup.
No, I'm here for it, man. That's sick.
Okay, so Rush21129 says, what's blue booking? Well, we have a whole episode where we get into it in detail, but let's
just share with everybody.
Go ahead, girl.
Come on now.
Well, I can explain it if you want, but go ahead.
Please do.
Okay, so blue booking is essentially, it's called blue booking for a reason, because back in the 80s, the guy who invented it, everybody wrote in these little blue books. His name was Aaron Alston. He's a hell of a game designer. He was also a novel writer for a lot of Star Wars books, FYI. So, he was an honorary member of the 501st Legion, because he was such a good writer of Star Wars.
See, I had Ross explain, because I don't know any of that.
Anyway, Aaron's campaign, which was called Strike Force, and there's 2 books you can buy to learn about long-term campaign stuff. Aaron really paved the way for like what a long-term role-playing game campaign would look like. And part of what he did was he came up with this idea of blue booking, which essentially is like ways to use your character outside of a typical game session. And in obviously in the modern day, this is more like a Discord thread or email, or any kind of way where you can talk to another player or talk to the GM. And it's a great way to role play in ways that would be awkward at the table. Deep personal interactions, romance. It's just a way for your character to be like, cool, I want to do this thing that would be kind of weird to do at the table, or we just don't have time at the table, but I'll write about it in a Discord or an IM or whatever. And that's what happens in between session A and session B.
Yeah, I only learned this is called blue booking recently, but I've been doing this for like since I started role playing. It felt like a natural thing to do to block things, because I like writing, so definitely recommend. It can be a lot of fun. Just I also recommend having it be like available to people, broadly speaking, so it doesn't feel like secrets are being kept unless it's specifically necessary. But Depends on you run like secrecy at your table anyway.
Well, yeah, like let's say you want to have that deep conversation about, I don't know, let's pick a topic. Let's say let's say that Regis wants to talk to Anti about her dead brother.
Mm.
And it would be awkward to do this at the table for whatever reason. Like we're maybe in the midst of a very high pressure investigation and it just doesn't feel right. But at the end of the session, maybe we go back and report to the Inquisitor. And that's when I say, oh, hey, how about you stick around for another 20 minutes after the game and we have this conversation. And she might be like, sure. Or she might be like, I got to go. Let's do it over email. And then you can have that really long, or maybe not long, but you have that really personal discussion. And that's a good way to use blow booking.
Yeah, and it's great because you don't then take up like 20 minutes mid-session with this thing that like nobody else can really shoe in on, or you alternatively like can just talk it through while cleaning up after the game because you don't have to roll any dice for this guaranteed. And it's just it's convenient. It's a good structure. It often works out nicely. It's fun to develop things in this way. So strong recommend.
Yeah. There are characters that we didn't get into this group that I would love to see for a Dark Heresy group. Like I think for this group, and we still need a name for our team. I would love to see that.
This is true. This is true. We need a cell name.
But we need an assassin. I think we need a tech priest.
Yeah. Or a Votan guy.
Or a psyker. I think those are the three things we really need left in this group. Guardsman would be a lot of fun too.
Yeah, I feel between like an Arbites and an assassin, you're kind of covered there, but a guardsman just is a great dynamic anyway.
Well, there's so many regiments. There's even the Maccabian Janissaries, which are the very own.
Ooh.
That's the very own Astro Militarum regiment from the Calixtus sector. They're super cool too. They have these silver masks they wear that are just rad. Look them up online. They're super cool. And Rush 21129 says it's the deep details that give a setting more life. That can be true. I do like it.
Yeah, I think that magic happens when you can like pick a topic like that and just like get into it and elaborate and extrapolate and like discover more things about the character in that moment. It makes the entire world feel more real when you're able to investigate some corner of it and keep finding things, right? Because it implies that anything you chose to sink your teeth into would be equally rich, and it means that the entire setting feels deeper. Like, you only get to experience so much of the game during play, right? You're seeing like splotches and swaths of this suggestion of a much larger world that's depicted perhaps in the source books and so on. But when you get to like dive really deep, it suggests something that's the wealth of possible knowledge and storytelling that is there. So it's cool.
Yeah, I have an example of this actually, but I want to mention Hawk says he's going to roll up a tech priest. Please Let's go. Please do. Yeah. Share it with us, and maybe we'll read it out in our next episode. Talk about that. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, please make characters. We need lots of fresh recruits for the grinder.
So I'll tell my quick story about a setting detail that blew my mind very recently, and it changed almost everything about my appreciation for the setting. We were playing the Dungeons of Drakkenheim, which is a really great version of Mordheim as a D&D setting created by the Dungeon Dudes. And we were traveling through the city of Drakkenheim, and there's a passageway that we could use to travel between different parts of the city, and it was covered in webs of phase spiders, which are a pretty common D&D monster. And I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And I said, okay, I'm gonna try and see if I can look down the passageway and find out what's on the other side. I don't remember if I failed my perception roll or not. Something happened there. I either failed or critically succeeded. I'm not sure. I don't recall exactly which way, but something interesting happened with the dice. And the game master's like, okay, so here's what happens. I was a critical fail. It was a 1. Now I remember.
Nice.
The game master's like, so here's what happens. You get distracted because in the spaces between the phase spiders' webs, you catch glimpses of other places, other times. They're like tiny windows into visions of places you've never seen before, people you don't know where they're, people of unfamiliar cultures and clothing. And I was just like, whoa, it was literally mind blowing to me to think that phase spiders who teleport, right? It actually made a lot of sense. It was like, oh, that's so cool. Like their webs like interact with that reality piercing aspect of it. And it was had to do with the way that the magic of Drakenheim is kind of modified or mutated things in that setting. But it made Drakenheim come alive in a way that I'd never thought of before. It's sometimes you can't predict it. It's just something that happens.
No, that's really cool. It's such a great example because it just in that moment makes everything feel so much richer. I love that. I love that.
Oh, here's a question from Wesley's. Would you like to read it?
Yeah, Wes asks, are there Discord servers or other places where you're going to find an RPG group for Dark Heresy or similar? We'll have to play it, but being Dutch, many groups out here. Play online is awesome. I play almost exclusively online these days because I've found my people, but we are scattered across the globe. So it is a thing. We have, in fact, some RPG channels in the Lorebeards Discord. Groups happen there sometimes. There are dedicated servers on Discord as well for each of the main 40k or the main Warhammer game lines. There's the Rat Catchers Guild for 4e, and I'm not sure what it's called for Dark Heresy. I know there is one for like Dark Heresy, Wrath and Glory, and so on. So there are zones for this, and I encourage looking for it because you might make some cool friends. This does happen.
Yeah, I think. Well, there's a lot of really good. Well, that's not true. Honestly, the last time I looked for a group was years ago. So maybe a lot of the things that I'm going to say here are like incredibly out of date. RPG.net has a looking for group section. I believe RPG Geek also does. There might be a meetup in. Unfortunately, like I'm not sure about the Dutch. I'm afraid. I'm doing the best I can here, but so Roll20 has a looking for group section. It's called Roll20, but they don't just do D20 games. There's Reddit has a 40k RPG thread. That would be a good place to check as well. And there's even a looking for group Reddit as well. And there are some dedicated 40k tabletop RPG discords out there. Don't ask me how to find them. I just know they exist. Good luck with that. Sorry, Wesley. I wish I had better places to give you, but that's the best I can do.
Yeah, I know the Rat Catchers Guild is the 4e like fantasy one. I know there's an affiliate like 40k server, but I off the top of my head don't know. I wish you luck though, and I suggest possibly starting up a group, just seeing who wants to play. You might be surprised.
Cool. Yeah, unfortunately we are out of time.
Oh yeah. Oh shoot. Well, this was a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Hey, we get to try out our outro today. Are you ready? Is everybody ready for
so ready?
Okay, here we go. Ah!